from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Brian Buckley with this Sports Center update. First on the Fan and the Association, Game 5 of the NBA Finals tonight. The Thunder and Pacers tied 2 games apiece. The winner of Game 5 in a tied finals goes on to win over 82% of the time. Tip-off from OKC tonight just after 5:30. The Thunder favored by 9. Out in Omaha today, Arkansas's Gage Wood twirls a 19-strikeout no-hitter, helping the Razorbacks avoid elimination against Murray State. UCLA and LSU just getting underway for a spot in the semifinals over on ESPN. On the Pro Diamond, the baseball world still buzzing from Sunday's trade, sending Red Sox lover Rafael Devers to San Francisco for a pair of pitchers and a couple prospects. Elsewhere in the NL West, Shohei Ohtani making his Dodgers starting pitching debut tonight. It's his first start since Tommy John surgery in 2023. LA takes on the Padres tonight. First pitch from Chavez Ravine on the MLB Network over at 7 o'clock. And the Mariners also back in action tonight, starting the day. 4.5 games back in the AL West. They host the Red Sox with Logan Gilbert on the hill for the M's. Lucas Giolito gets the ball for Boston. First pitch from T-Mobile at 6:40. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. Ryan Buckley at the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work. Insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The Fan Merch Locker has a new black 1080 The Fan hoodie, as well as classic long and short sleeve tees. Get yours now at 1080thefan.com.
If you can find the time to explore the mind of a stripper,
then you can find the time to spend with your actual family.
Primetime with Isaac and Suk.
Damn! What they on? All steroids and no carbs? Them some thick-ass kids.
This is Primetime.
We're not like you. We're grown-ups.
Your source for the best in local, regional, and national sports.
Oh, my goodness.
Here are Isaac Ropp and Jason Sakanik with Primetime on 1080 The Fan.
That's right. Here we are on this Giancarlo Stanton return day.
Oh, I saw that.
He's back.
He's back?
He's back in the Yankees lineup tonight.
He had, double elbow?
Yeah, like elbow tendonitis.
Or something?
Yeah,
They were
both
blaming,
elbows.
They were blaming it on the torpedo bat, or?
Hey, that stuff lasts a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it just lingers.
Yeah, tendonitis sucks.
Terrible.
Yeah. It's no bueno. And
but he's back.
And when you swing as hard as that guy does, I'm assuming that, like, I mean, there's you can't come back and decide to swing halfway. I don't know what you do on that. Plus, he's always hurt. The dude's he looks like a Greek god, but he's made of glass.
Well, we were talking about the U.S. Open. Dr. Spahn, JJ Spahn.
JJ.
Putts of 40 feet, 22 feet, and 64 feet.
Yeah.
Over the last 5 holes.
Ridiculous.
He made them all.
Yeah. Well, I guess, and he needed 2 or 3. 2 of those 3 that had to go in.
Yeah.
Because that last one that he hit, and people are right, he got a very good read, was Hovland that had it before him. But still.
Yeah, but still to make that
That's a ridiculous putt. And, you just lagged that. He knew he needed to get down in 2, but still.
It kind of had a little speed on it.
Yeah, I know. Like
if that didn't go in,
you're like, oh, is that going to be one of the like, well, little meat left on that bone?
Playoff.
Yeah.
Playoff. Well, the other element out there was after the delay.
Yeah.
They had a delay.
Playoffs.
Sam Burns and Adam Scott both just absolutely crapped their pants.
Yep.
And this is one of those where it's like, hey, they all had to play in the same conditions. They all had the same stop and start. Same amount of time, and JJ Spahn handled it, and the other guys didn't.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much as simple as that.
Yeah.
That said, I thought both Scott and Burns were pretty classy in how they handled that, because they were both, you could tell they both wanted to say, look, that was
unfair.
It was unplayable.
Yeah.
And it's not that it's unfair. It's just like, it's not the true test. They want to finish that tournament.
Yeah.
A lot of eyeballs are on it. I get it. It's a huge event and everybody's watching, so you want to get them back out there. But at the same time, could they have waited another, could they waited a little more time and gotten the course a little bit more playable?
Well, and they were saying, too, that, a lot of the places at Oakmont, the ball tends to funnel down into the same spot. So there was at least twice that you were watching Burns not only hit out of and if you've ever played at some place that's really wet, like around here, I always think about like Heron Lakes. If you've ever played at Heron Lakes when it's wet, what do you do?
Pumpkin Ridge gets like that.
Does it get like that?
In the winter, yeah.
And so not only is he hitting from a marsh, but he's hitting out of a divot because the ball has funneled down into where someone else was. And
yeah, he had 2 divots, right?
Yes.
Didn't he say he had two shots out of divots?
2 shots that were in divots, and that was the one where Van Pelt, that was the one on 15 where he doubled.
15 where the divot was filling with water.
Yes, when someone left, or as soon as he left, someone went and said, "Hey, this is the divot that Burns had to hit of," and all he did was lightly put his foot on the other side, and the divot, literally like a fountain spring, came up, and you're like, how are you supposed to hit out of that?
So a golf pro looked up the rule, and it says USGA Rule 16.1 says you get free relief from casual water if it affects your ball's lie, stance, or swing. Doesn't matter if the water's visible or if it swishes underfoot. If there's enough video evidence Sam Burns' ball was in casual water, like saturated ground on that fairway, he should have gotten a drop.
And he didn't.
Well, he got 2 opinions.
Yes.
And they both would
said
not
no.
let him drop. And so he said, okay, it's not my decision. I'll play it. Well, he ended up double bogeying the hole. And it really cost, I mean, you could say that he did not play well after the restart.
Well, he went.
But that cost him the tournament.
So he went 15, he went double, then bogey, and then had a birdie, and then he bogeyed and thanks for
But
coming.
he was already kind of toast.
He was already, yeah. I mean, his back 9, birdie, double, bogey, par, double, bogey, birdie, bogey.
What did he shoot there?
He shot a 40.
40.
You're not. Although Spawn, I think, had a 40 going in. I think his
Going
front
out.
9, I think, was a 40
Yeah.
going out. So
Yeah, the start, the restart changed everything.
yeah,
And then how then they handled the water, and Spawn obviously did great, and Burns and
Spawn did, and Burns did not.
and Scott did not.
Because Scott ended up at Burns ended up +4. Scott ended up at +6.
Yeah, he didn't even top 10.
No.
I just feel like, and I'm not trying to bitch about how that played out. I just feel like under normal conditions, Adam Scott competes for the title at that tournament. But under those conditions, what'd you say, +6?
Plus, he had 9 bogeys on his round, one of those being a double. And when you look at Scott's card, and there's 1 green.
He hit 1 green.
No, there's 1 birdie. One, when you look at the scorecard, that they do it. The green is the birdie, red's the bogey, and blue's the double. And you look at Scott's card, and it ain't good. A lot of red, and as many blue as there were green. Like you're not gonna win.
I didn't have any juice on him, but I was kind of pulling for him.
Yeah.
For
Did
Scott?
Would that have been his? Cause
Adam Scott.
Has he won 1 or 2?
He's on 1.
He won the Masters, right?
Yeah, Masters.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What you and I were talking numbers after round 2, and I grabbed an Adam Scott ticket at 16-1. Was feeling pretty good going into Sunday, but not great after.
Well, his numbers look good, but again, like I said, I think he competes for that if the conditions stay the way they were.
Yeah.
It's just it kind of got a little weird there.
Yes, it did.
And look, he didn't handle it very well, and neither did Burns, and that's that.
It's the one thing you say about the U.S. Open is that I had a buddy text me and goes, there was like maybe 6 or 7 holes left. He said, who you got? And I said, Oakmont.
Yeah,
Oakmont.
exactly.
It won.
Can you imagine playing that course every day? Like that's your course?
No.
Because they love to play it that way.
Who would want to?
They love it. All the members, it's a private club.
Yes.
Yeah.
But all the members there, it's one of the hardest courses in the country. Everybody knows that. It was built for that. And they love playing it.
I don't know, man. Like the closest thing.
I guess your handicap would travel pretty well.
Yeah.
You play that every day.
I have a buddy of mine that lives, a very good friend of mine that lives in Bend on Broken Top. And the course next to them is Tethero. And look, I'm not a good golfer by any stretch of the imagination. When I break 90, it's a good day, right? But when you play Tethero, like, because he actually decided to move to Broken Top specifically because of that. He played both, and he goes, why would anyone want to play Tethero? Because if you've ever played that course, it's kind of just a kick in the nuts. Unless you are just a scratch golfer, and even for that, it is a punishing round. Why would you want to do that to yourself? I do not understand that mentality, but yeah, I guess they
Tell them to
love
go
it.
join Oakmont.
Did you see the locker room after supposedly Wyndham Clark got a hold of
Windy.
it? Yeah.
Got a little pissed
Has
off.
that been confirmed?
That's what I read.
It seems widely understood it was him who
So
did it.
apparently,
Yeah.
so Oakmont's one of the oldest country clubs in the United States, and it's beautiful. The lockers are old time wood, and they've got look like maybe like a linen sort of like front to them, like a cloth. It really nice. Think like antique furniture. And I guess
He kicked two of them in.
I guess Wyndham Clark just went in.
Looks like your grandma's sideboard cabinet or something like that.
Yes, Wyndham Clark went in there and decided to put his foot in someone's ass about the state of Oakmont. So we had Rory smashing tee boxes. We got
tee markers.
Yeah.
He also threw a couple clubs and had one of them bounce back to him. Did you see that great video?
Yeah. Graham McDowell said, "This is minimal regarding what I've seen other players do. Players you would never expect. Oakmont will test any player's mental fortitude. Seen it in person. Guess who? 2016." So that was Graham McDowell talking. He posted that based on the picture of Wyndham Clark.
Yeah.
Screwing up he's like, dude, you ain't seen nothing yet. And I'm guessing that's true.
Yes.
In golf locker rooms.
And who do we think that was? Because I think they were referencing in the comments who it could be. Was it Lowry?
Well, he said, guess who? 2016. So that would have been, because that was the year Dustin Johnson won it.
Well, I don't know, but this year Lowry
Maybe it was him.
Lowry was on the verge of a meltdown. Like,
oh yeah,
it's in the first two rounds.
He dropped a hot mic. F this place,
dude. He was.
Did you catch that?
Yeah, they all hate it.
He was fired up.
They can't say it. Rory wanted to say it too. You could see he is like, dude, this place sucks because they think those guys are so spoiled and pampered that they think that if they hit the ball right where they want to, it's a bit like Tethero.
Yes.
That
it should work.
It should work out, and there it does not.
Yes.
Balls roll down into the rough, or they hit they're like right up against the collar, and Rory was so frustrated with that. Now, to his credit, he hung in there. He actually made the cut, and he top 20'd. Yeah. He played really well over the weekend.
Yes.
I wanted to play for you a little bit of audio before we move on of him, because you were talking about how he was I think the cut line was +7.
And he was right there.
And he was +8. And he had maybe 4 or 5 holes left.
And
we were talking like, dude, he ain't making the cut because he knows he's not winning the tournament. Yeah. So he'll just miss the cut intentionally to go home. A lot of guys do that.
That's what we call the 3-2-1 Cancun. I'm not going to compete. I don't need the money. I can't win. I
feel terrible. I hate this course. I'm out.
Yeah, I'm done. Take my bogeys and walk away.
He ended up making 2 birdies to get to +6, and the cut ended up staying at +7. So he made the cut, believe it or not, with a shot to spare, or actually 2 shots to spare. But they asked him about that after his final round.
Yeah, it's funny. Like it's much easier being on the cut line when you don't really care if you're here for the weekend or not. I was sort of thinking, do I really want 2 more days here or not? So it makes it easier to play better when you're in that mindset.
So how about that?
Wow, he admitted it.
So he was thinking that.
Yeah.
But he also did not purposefully miss. Yeah. Right? Like he was thinking, I don't really want to be here. But then he's like, all right, fine, I'll just birdie because it's just easier. Like free and easy, which I thought was odd.
Yeah. It is. I had not heard that he admitted. It's easy when you don't want to be here for 2 more days. Because that's the thing.
Because you would think if you don't want to be here for 2 more days, you would just mail it in.
Because that has to just be that course is just punishingly difficult. And why would you want to subject yourself to it when you know you're not going to win and you don't need a top 20 finish? It's not,
Well, I tell you, like I said, to his credit, and he's getting a lot of crap right now because he ducked the media again.
Yeah.
And he said in that same interview we just talked about the cut line, he said, I feel like I've earned the right to do whatever I want.
Pretty much. He said, I'll talk to you basically when I want to talk to you.
Yeah, and he's frustrated with the media.
That may be coming up in Stockwatch.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, he's frustrated with the media. I don't really know why he's so frustrated, but he is. Unlike Burns and Scott, who stood there like men and answered the questions, he did not. And so a lot of people hate that, and they're pissed off at him about it. But he, to his credit, he was pissed. He hated the course. He hates the media for some reason. And he nutted up and went out there. And I think he was one of the better players over the last 2 days in the whole tournament. Yeah. So you got to give him a little bit of credit.
Shout out to Rory.
All right, Stockwatch. What we're buying and selling for the weekend in sports next on The Fan.
The Portland Trail Blazers. Primetime Stockwatch. What's all the hype? Are Isaac and Soup buying it or calling BS and unloading it fast?
Sounds to me like you guys are a couple of bookies.
Is the hype accurate or a bunch of hot gas? Before you buy or sell, listen close.
It's easy to grin when your ship comes in and you've got the stock market beat. But the man worthwhile is the man who can smile when his shorts are too tight in the seat.
Primetime Stockwatch is brought to you by 1-800-DIVORCE. When you need to take stock of your rights, 1-800-DIVORCE is on your side. Call 1-800-DIVORCE today.
All right, here is our favorite, probably our favorite sprint try Clyde. Finished third among Clydesdales.
More than likely our favorite Clydesdale.
More than likely.
I do need to bring up another point on that, and I thought it was going to come up earlier. It did not. So when I told you guys and my family that I finished third, my dad's first question was, well, third out of how many?
3. Oh, what? There were only 3 Clydesdales?
There were only 3 Clydesdales in the sprint try.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so I finished third of 3.
Well, that changes everything.
Well, it changes a little bit. I still finished ahead of 40 people and 17 dudes.
He is your favorite Clydesdale.
Okay.
So one of the other 2 is your favorite?
Well, it depends on who they are.
Buckley, I don't think you did not need to bring that up.
I didn't. I think it makes it better.
Boy, when you said third out of all the Clydes, I thought maybe like third out of 50.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it might be
75?
third out of like 6 or 7, because in my group that went out at the same time, it was 45-year-old males, like regular division, and all Clydesdale males. And there were probably 25 or 30 of us in the water, and I thought maybe a third were Clydesdales. It was just 3 of us. But I finished ahead of about 40 competitors in the sprint try and 13 or 14 males. So
dude, this happens a lot in jiu-jitsu competitions because everything's by belt and by age and then by weight. And there's plenty of times that people will go and they lose. It's one and done. You lose and you're out.
And you get second place?
I see it all the time where someone loses their first match and they end up on the podium with like third, and hey, you know what? They're up there with their third place medal and no one says anything. But it's in stuff like this, that is more common than you realize.
And so
Buckley, you're still my bronze guy.
They start I was curious who had the fastest time in our Clydesdale group, and I had no idea how many people. And I heard him say the winner was like an hour 42, and then I just tuned out because there was no way that I placed. And then my stepdad goes, "Dude, they just said you got third," and I was like, "What?" And I go over, I'm like, "There must be a mistake," but I heard I got third, and they're like, "Oh yeah, it says right here, third place," and I was like, "All right." And then about 2 hours later, when I checked the full results board, did I realize
I would like to announce that I took 4th.
You did, technically.
Technically, I finished 4th in the Clydesdale.
4th's up for debate.
Can I also offer that? Why would they give medals? Okay, so there's.
I don't know.
You know, like there's only.
I didn't need a medal.
Yeah, but they gave a medal for last place, but call it
They
third.
don't know how many people are going to sign up, so every group gets a medal.
Every group they award to.
And it just so happens that only 3 people signed up. Therefore, Buck finishing, he gets
fine.
bronze.
That's fine, except that I think if I'm the head of the sprint try,
you're just eliminating bronze?
Okay,
Correct.
so how about this? There
Correct.
were only 2 competitors in the non-binary field. Does that mean the second place
One
person
medal.
also got last?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
And there's 1 medal. And 1 medal only.
But there were 2. They gave away 1 to the last place.
Well, they're cowards.
Sounds like you should run the show next year.
I think so.
Well, but I'm still counting him as my bronze god.
We're still happy
You
for you.
earned that medal.
As my friend Jordan pointed out, there were hundreds of other Clydesdales who didn't even show up to the event, so
right.
I'll take
They're
that.
a bunch of cowards.
Good point.
Let's get into some Stockwatch. We were talking about Rory and his presser about not wanting to be around the weekend, or maybe wanting to be around the weekend but not being so into it. Here's what Rory had to say on why he hasn't been talking with the media.
No, not really. It's more a frustration with you guys. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've been totally available for the last few years, and I'm not saying maybe not you guys, but maybe more just the whole thing. But it's not as if like at Augusta I skipped you guys on Thursday, so yeah, it's not as if it's not out of the ordinary. I've done it before. I'm just doing it a little more often. I feel like I've earned the right to do whatever I want to do. Yeah.
Wow.
Buy or sell that as the face of the PGA Tour, Rory has earned the right to do whatever he wants to do.
I this is always one of I sell this. This has always been my one. It is a constant bee in my bonnet. It is a gripe that so many of these guys, and I get it, nothing is given to them. They earn every bit of it. But you are fortunate enough to play in a sport that has made you rich beyond your wildest dreams. The fans love you and adore you, which is why you have this money. And a big reason why the money is what it is because of the media attention. And the least you can do is have a set of balls or ovaries for the females to stand up, win or lose, because when you win, now here's the thing. If you win the Masters and you don't want to do media, you're just like, hey, like Marshawn Lynch, I respect. Win or lose, I don't want to do this. But you can't stand up there at Butler's cabin.
And did he skip media after the Masters?
Exactly.
No, he did not.
Exactly. So if you do that, then have some huevos and stand up when you lose or you don't play well. And all these people that get so butthurt over questions, dude, I get it. There's morons in this media that can drive you crazy, but the way you handle it, to me, it says a lot more about you than it does about the idiot asking the question. My God. And when you do get upset, it leads me to believe that there's an element of truth to it, which is why it's in your bonnet. So I like Rory. In fact, I really, really like Rory, but that crap, that never sits well with me.
Yeah, I sell it. You can't do whatever you want.
No.
Even when you're Rory, even when you're Tiger. So you still have responsibilities.
Yes.
I don't really understand why the media is so bothersome to these guys.
Yeah.
I mean, grow up. Like,
yes, that's my point.
It's just not that. I don't know. Of all of the things that they go through as high-level golfers, and it is a grind.
This is what gets you?
That the fact that the media trips them up so much, I think it kind of shows a little bit of weakness. Yeah. It's a little bit of softness.
I'm surprised that having to do this as often as they do, that it's not easier for them to just say, you know what, I'm not going to get into that today, and just move on. I mean, Marshawn Lynch did the next question. Next question. I'm just here so I don't get...
Well,
like,
exactly
you
is
can
his
pass
problem?
through it without, like, making it a deal.
But what's his problem? Seriously, dude, the media loves you. You're Rory McIlroy. Everybody loves Rory McIlroy.
And now they want to talk to you when you have a bad round or a bad driver and you can't handle it?
I don't really get it. I'd also like to state, this is the first time that I've had this thought. What if that dude's going to live?
Wow. Like, that is a ultimate, like, John Cena heel turn. He goes to live and takes like $500 million.
Definition of a heel turn.
He just won the Masters. They're offering him $500 million. He hates the media on the tour. He hates being the face of the tour. What if he goes to live?
You know what? I'll laugh. I will laugh my ass off. You know what?
It'll make sense why he's so jammed up.
Exactly.
No media.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I wonder if that's why he's bothered.
I'm here for it.
That would be the biggest D move of all time.
Well, let's stay at Oakmont. Obviously a unique course, a difficult course. One of the standout features, the church pew bunker. Here's the broadcast and specifically Brad Faxon talking about that.
One of the great images, most iconic images in golf.
I think it is. You know, we talked about that with Arnold Palmer a little bit yesterday, and the players cannot drive it over there. You can just see a little bit of them on the left side for Scott.
Buy or sell that Faxon talked about it with Palmer yesterday. Side note, Palmer has been dead since 2016.
Wait. What did I miss here?
Whoops.
He just said he had a conversation with Arnold Palmer yesterday about the church pews.
Can you play that again?
One of the great images, most iconic images in golf.
I think it is. You know, we talked about that with Arnold Palmer a little bit yesterday, and the players cannot drive it over there. You can just see a little bit of them on the left side for Scott.
So he's saying we discussed this on the show about Arnold yesterday.
Okay.
I think maybe he said with, and he meant to say about.
He knows Arnold Palmer.
Or who does he think he talked to yesterday?
Did he talk to Arnie's ghost?
It's possible. Maybe there was. Is there a seance that we're not aware of? And boy, that's rough.
Yeah, I think he just kind of.
He probably was just phrasing, but it very much seemed like he talked to someone who died 9 years ago.
Certainly, I could see where that got awkward for You know, like who's ever he talking to is like, what?
So you're going to sell that he did not talk to Arnold Palmer yesterday?
I'm going to sell.
He did not.
Over to the Diamond, blockbuster deal in baseball, and it happened or was discussed on Dodgers-Giants Sunday Night Baseball with Clayton Kershaw.
Another number for you. So 1 for 4, 3 strikeouts. 2018 World Series, you against Rafael Devers.
Yeah, how about that trade? That's wild. Buster's really doing it. Not only Buster Posey's really doing it over there. Good, good for Buster, man. He's going for it. I consider Rafi one probably, top 10 hitters in the game at worst.
Right.
So he's definitely a game changer. It'd be interesting to see what position he plays over there. I know they have a big prospect at first base coming, so it'd be interesting to see if he plays first. Obviously, they have Matt Chapman, who's one of the best in the game at third. So even if he's just DH for however long that contract is, I don't even know what they gave up. I know Harrison was supposed to pitch today, so he's a good one. He is a good one, but I don't know, man. It makes him better right now for sure.
Well, Clayton Kershaw likes it. Buy or sell. The Rafael Devers trade makes my team better than your team's.
No.
Well, your team's already better than my team.
The Mets are quite good. So
yeah, it doesn't make them better than the Mets.
It doesn't make them better than the Mets, but it is surprising that, and that is, like, however you want to slice him, that's a top 10 hitter in Major League Baseball. He's a pain in the ass, and he got off to a horrid start, but he's hitting 272 with 15 and 58 after a horrid start. I don't know what Boston. I mean, I guess the relationship was just so fractured.
Yeah, he pissed them off.
I think they pissed him off too, but that's a big get.
Well, he was the one. Remember, if you don't know the story, they got. He's been there. He's been their face, and they went out and got Alex Bregman
that plays his position.
And Devers was like, "I'm not moving from third base." So they pissed right in his pot, and then he was a bitch about it, and they're like, "Well, you're being a bitch about it, so now we're going to trade you."
Well, no, remember. So he moved to DH and was like, fine, I'm going to stop being a bitch, and now he starts raking. And then their first baseman gets hurt, and they're like, hey, I know you've never played first base, but now you're going to go play first base. And he's like, no, I don't know what I'm doing. You already moved me once. You gave me $300 million. You said I'm the face of the team. You moved me, and now you're like, F you, go learn a new position. So, like, look, I get you got to do the team first stuff, but he's got a legitimate gripe there. In Boston, and now he's going to go to the...
let's see what happens because Matt Chapman's hurt, right?
Yeah, no.
Matt Chapman.
I think he's playing. I think Chapman's playing.
I thought he was hurt.
Did he just go down? Because he was playing recently.
Should you not know that?
I should know that.
Aren't you a Giants fan?
I hardly watch Giants baseball. I watch Giants baseball.
So he's going to play in place of Matt Chapman then? Or he'll just DH?
No, I think he's going to play first base. Because they DFA'd Lamont Wade Jr.
Well,
and
I thought Flores played first base.
What's that? Flores can also. I think it's going to be a combination of DH and first base.
Are you really a Giants fan?
I do not think it will be third base.
Okay. Well, yeah, because Chapman's a great third baseman.
Chapman's one of the best, and Devers by numbers one of the worst third basemen.
But he can play he can be the DH, right?
Yeah, because they're doing like I thought I saw that they're basically platooning at first base. They're rotating guys through. But do you really want to piss off the guy that? You just put him at DH.
Initial reports are that he's open to both DH and first base.
Can I just say that there's something about, maybe it's the ballpark. I just feel like he's not going to do anything for you guys.
It's possible.
I saw this fun stat. Would you care to guess the last person in that Giants organization to hit 30 home runs?
Ooh.
Fun stat.
Well, 30?
30.
Is it Barry Lamar Bonds?
Is it Bonds?
It's Bonds.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yep.
That ballpark is not so all the little cheap doubles that he got off of the Green Mountain. Look, he's going to be fine. He's going to
He's a good hitter, but
they've had they've had a really hard time signing power bats for like a decade because of this exact thing.
Yes.
People's home run totals go down there. Yeah. They just do. And so
it's a little bit like the Mariners.
And so but getting someone in a trade I think is big deal for Giants fans because they've only been able to home grow their power and have not been able to sign anybody. So
okay. Well, Kyle Harrison,
Jordan Hicks,
who's
couple prospects,
a couple kids. Yeah, I don't know. They didn't get that much for him, but
no. Well, and that's what happens when
it was mostly that San Francisco's willing to eat all the money. They got 8 more years on that giant deal.
Hey, that's our Stockwatch brought to you by Goldberg Jones. When it comes to divorce, custody, or child support issues, trust Goldberg Jones to help. Call 1-800-DIVORCE. Phone questions answered at no charge. No more warnings. You're getting a ticket next time. That's next on In the News, but first, Buck with SportsCenter.
From from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. A Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Ryan Buckley with this Sports Center update. First on The Fan, Game 5 of the NBA Finals just an hour away. The series tied 2-2. It's in OKC tonight. The Thunder favored by 9 or 9.5. Meanwhile, in baseball, the world's still buzzing from the Rafael Devers trade, sending the Red Sox slugger to San Francisco in exchange for a pair of pitchers and a pair of prospects. Elsewhere in the NL West, Shohei Ohtani making his Dodgers starting pitching debut tonight. It's his first start since Tommy John surgery with the Angels in 2023. LA takes on the Padres tonight. First pitch is at 7 o'clock on MLB Network. Meanwhile, the Mariners also back in action. They started the day 4.5 games back in the AL West. They're hosting the Red Sox with Logan Gilbert on the hill for the M's. Lucas Giolito is on the mound for Boston. First pitch from T-Mobile's at 6:40. And an absolute gem out in Omaha today. Arkansas's Gage Wood twirls a 19-strikeout no-hitter, helping the Razorbacks avoid elimination against Murray State. It's the first no-no in the Men's College World Series since 1960. UCLA and LSU going at it right now for a spot in the semifinals on that side of the bracket. Banger of a game so far, 4-3 in the bottom of the first inning. We'll keep you posted. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. Ryan Buckley with George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work. Insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
It's back. The 11th annual Fan Golf Classic at Langdon Farms Golf Club happens Tuesday, June 24th. Presented by your local Toyota dealers. Reserve your foursome now at 1080thefan.com.
Well, look, sometimes you get hurt out there. It's a big, bad, tough, hard physical world.
Yeah, you're out there, you're at Clydesdale, you're cruising along on the course, and next thing you know,
yeah, it's where the hard dudes are.
Some idiot comes along and sideswipes you, maybe throws a, I don't know, it's Ben, so they throw a
maybe pukes in your path and you slip.
Yeah, an IPA bottle into your spokes. You go over the handlebar, and next thing you know, you got a Clydesdale down. You think the insurance company's taking care of the Clydesdale? No, they're going to try to screw you over. That's why whether you're a nag, a Clydesdale, or I don't know, like a Shetland pony, the only place you need to know when you're hurt, the Advocates.
Yeah, that's Ken and Donnie, personal injury attorneys, friends of ours, and they should be friends of yours. Put them in your phone. You can see them on their website, advocateslaw.com. The thing about them is consultations, 100% free, doesn't cost you any money to go talk to them, and it doesn't matter how small your case is. And then, if they take you on, they don't get paid until you win. Yeah. So they will hammer the insurance companies for you because insurance companies can be very difficult to deal with. They're skilled at that. So, if you've been injured, you need more than a lawyer. You deserve an advocate. Ken and Donnie, telling you, we call them Donikin. They're great. Go to their website, advocateslaw.com.
So what are you reading?
two things that have come across my feed that I don't know why.
What does doom scrolling mean?
Like nothing. You're just killing time.
Oh.
You know, you just
Okay.
whether it's, Instagram or, Facebook or Twitter, whatever, you're randomly scrolling. And two things that have gotten me, and I don't know why, but now my algorithm knows that I like them. One is horse hoof maintenance. What is it? Farriers? That I can't stop watching. And the other one is when they take the sea turtles and they remove like the barnacles from their shells. Have you seen those?
No.
They pull up these like giant sea turtles and they're covered in these, they're covered in like these big barnacles, and they take like screwdrivers and they like pop them off, and it's like a Dr. Pimple Popper thing, but for turtles. And I can't stop watching. You'll get me for like 10 minutes just watching them clean sea turtles. And then they like scrub them down and get them all shined up, and then they send the sea turtles out. And I love them. I can't stop watching these damn sea turtle videos.
Like a little sea turtle car wash.
Yes, I can't stop.
I like turtles.
No, they're adorable.
They're great.
I like turtles.
We
we've got some bad news, Jace.
We do.
Do you work in the factory at Intel?
I do not.
Good. Because Intel notified its factory workers this weekend that it intends to begin laying off 15 to 25% of its workers.
Yeah, that's a lot of folks.
Next month.
Yeah.
That's an enormous cutback.
Yeah, it is.
And it will have a big effect on their headquarters here in Oregon.
Yeah. Do we know why? Just they.
Oh, I'm guessing money.
Money. I mean, I didn't know if there was any sort of specific reason. I saw that the one I saw was said 20% workforce reduction. I do know a couple of people that do work out there, and I don't know if they, if they know they're okay or whatever. But like when Nike does this, do you reach out to anyone you know? Because I always find that weird. I don't want to do like, hey, good luck.
I won't unless I hear about it.
Yeah.
Them specifically.
Yes. It's always it's tough when you hear about.
It's kind of an unspoken thing.
Yeah, a massive layoff like that.
Although I feel like everybody at Nike is always waiting for the guillotine.
Yeah.
Quite possibly more than 10,000 jobs
will
be lost here.
Brutal.
At Intel. No more warnings. You will be getting a ticket from now on, you scofflaws.
You sons of bitches.
For what you ask.
We will kill you graveyard dead or write you a ticket.
Well, if you are a dog owner and you let your dog off the leash,
good.
They are going to give you tickets.
Good.
They don't like you.
It drives me nuts because you always get the person that's like, my dog is well behaved.
Every time.
You don't know that. You don't know that.
Every interaction between dogs is different than the one before. Just because your dog is good with most dogs doesn't mean it's going to be good with my dog. Mine's on a leash. Put yours on one.
Yeah, you always got to be careful with the off-leash dogs.
Yes.
And there's always somebody with their dog off-leash, which I respect that we're very dog-friendly here.
Yes.
And, look, if you're at a park and there's no one else around, and you're
there's a time and place.
You're playing ball with your dog, it's fun. It doesn't bother me. But at the same time, yes, what you just mentioned is a big thing. Like, these dogs don't always interact so well together, and it's just a recipe for disaster. So just put your dog on a leash if you see another dog. But now they're saying you're going to get a ticket.
Get a ticket, because I go to places where I know that I can let my dog off leash, right? Where there's not anyone else around.
For us, it's the beach. We just let her off on the beach. It's fine.
And I am confident.
Yeah, totally.
My dog.
I think the beach is fine.
Yeah, my dog loves everybody. He doesn't have a malicious bone in his body. But I'm also not ignorant enough to know that something weird could happen, and I don't know how your dog's going to react. So the first thing I do when I see, and I always make sure there's a great distance, right? I always make sure wherever I'm at, I can see a long way away. And when I see another dog get within 50 feet of us, the first thing I do, come here, buddy.
Yep.
And we throw the leash on.
Yep.
And then I wait for that person to come next to me or come close, and I always do the, hey, how's your dog? And even when they tell me that it's okay, I'm still not always, I'm looking at it, I'm like,
You make sure the coast is clear first
Yes.
before you proceed. Yeah.
Just this idea that you're like, well, I totally trust my dog, therefore I don't have to have it. I hate that. Drives me nuts.
Rangers, park rangers, they were required to issue a warning before citing you.
Yeah.
Before. Now the city has changed the policy, and the park rangers can go straight to the ticket.
Good. And I'm assuming at their discretion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, good.
You always have to have a dog on a leash except in off-leash areas.
Yeah.
And you must dispose of their little poopies.
Yes.
Or in some cases, big poopies.
Yeah.
And of course,
we would fall under that category. And that's the other one is because a lot of the times we go out to pretty open areas. And just because you're in an open public area doesn't mean that you don't have to pick up your turd.
Right.
Always.
You always got to clean up after your dog.
It's just not. I feel like 90% of being a pet owner, a decent one, is just having common sense. And people don't have common sense.
And common decency.
And by the way, just because your dog is little doesn't mean that you don't have to have that. Oh, what could my dog hurt? That's not the point, ma'am. I get it. You got a Boston Terrier.
Why does she have to be female?
Half the time, because it's always a ma'am, half the time the dog that's causing problems is your little rat dog that thinks it's king of the world. Leash the damn thing.
Coming up next, I have an update. They still can't find Travis Decker. And a couple of fires out there we got to talk about.
Well, we got some rain coming, hopefully, right?
Yeah. We'll get to that next on The Fan.
The home of dirt and spray.
That to me is the part of his game that if you can turn it into a pick and pop kind of center where you can't just leave him wide open because he can make you pay. I'm not asking for a full Lopez bro here, but like a half of a Lopez bro that can knock down a 3-point shot at like a 38% clip. I think that's the ceiling you're looking at.
The Fan.
Nice to have you along. We will be talking sports shortly because, well, after all, we're supposed to.
Sports, right?
But this is in the news for June 16, 2025. A couple of updates. They still can't find Travis Decker.
No.
Which is crazy because they spotted him last week.
Well, they said this dude's like full on like Rambo. My man is fine out in the woods.
Yeah, they believe he is hiding between Ingalls Creek and Eagle Creek.
Some place called, like, they call it the Enchantments?
Yeah, he's in there. It's up by Leavenworth.
Yeah, I'm not going looking for that dude. Killed his family.
Yeah, he sure did.
And I guess he's like a trained, like, army survivalist, and he's got a ponytail, too. Never trust a man in the woods with a ponytail.
Oh, that's bad news.
Yeah, that's right.
Every action movie henchman has a ponytail.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. I'm out.
Well, we've made progress on the Rowena and Ferry fires.
That's good. And we got rain coming this weekend, right? Across the state, so that should help.
So far,
It's called rain. Comes down from heaven.
That's right.
the Rowena fire has burned 3.636 acres in the Columbia River Gorge. It has destroyed 56 homes and 91 additional buildings. It is 24% contained. Over 700 total personnel continue to battle the blaze. That's a big one.
Yeah. That was the one where the guy said that it felt like the conditions were already like mid-July.
Yep. The good news is that rain is expected across the Pacific Northwest this weekend, mostly west of the Cascades. Forecast models say Rowena fire could see about 0.05 inches.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's good. I mean, rain. We need rain.
I mean, any bit is
rain.
good, I guess.
Any rain.
It goes drip, drip.
Get rid of some of the dry conditions out there.
All right. What else do I have for you here? Bloop, bloop, boom. Oh, hey. Do you like pools?
Yeah. Who doesn't like? Is there anyone that doesn't like pools? I mean, I get people that don't like natural water, but is there anyone that like looks at a nice pool and is like, screw this?
Well, I thought
On a
for the
hot day?
longest time in the world that everyone liked comedy to some degree until I heard a woman on a plane say she thinks it's unserious and
Yeah.
doesn't like it.
Yeah. Well, I know people. I know
was
an
like, oh my
individual that
God.
doesn't like music.
Yeah.
I just.
Yo, that's a tough one.
Yeah. Like he won't. He only listens to like talk. He will not.
If you had to give up music or comedy for the rest of your life,
comedy.
Well, that's tough for me.
Comedy would be hard, but I listen to a lot. I am a full-on, like, I just listen to music no matter what I'm doing.
Okay, tougher.
I have
Give up
music-
listening to music or watching sports?
Well, for the job.
Well, let's say in a vacuum. Job doesn't matter. This is personal preference.
I could give up sports.
I could give up sports.
Really?
before
I think
do
I'd give up music before sports. It would be really hard, but
Hey, sports guy.
I think I would.
Boy, he's pushing hard for that midday slot, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Hey, just so everyone knows.
I just wanted you guys to know I'd give up music.
I'd give up anything before I gave
Well,
up sports.
you guys are on your way here listening to albums and stuff. I'm listening to like podcasts about previewing the finals, Game 5.
Like, again, look at you guys on the. You guys
Just
may
want
not
you
take
guys
this
to know
seriously.
my
but
prep.
you have no idea the amount of work that goes into what the
No,
show. that
that's
I'm
not
about
what I'm
to do.
saying. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah, the pools in Portland open on Friday.
Oh, when's
and
the last time you went to a public pool?
not.
Look, and I'm glad they're there, and I know the kids love them and all that, but dude, I don't even like going to like apartment pools for the most part. I couldn't tell you. It's probably been 30 plus years since I was in a public pool, outside of like a hotel, right? Then you go to those. Depending on the situation. If there's a lot of kids, that's tough.
I mean, I feel like public or private, a pool is going to have other people in it that maybe you don't want to bathe with, you know? So it kind of doesn't really matter to me.
I need to know that my pool isn't 35% piss. And I feel like a 3-to-1 kid ratio is probably going to result in a higher urine content than I'm willing to put up with.
Urine, yes, but I tell you what, we go to that adult pool at the Wynn.
Oh, yeah.
And that thing later in the day.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Well, there's a lot of people drinking at that, and you know they're not getting out to use the facilities.
It gets murky and...
Yeah. Yeah, but that's the adult pool, so at least you get some up tops.
Also lots of sweats and lotions. And
That's true.
Yeah.
Somebody said, thoughts on Great Wolf Lodge?
Oh, my God.
I bet Zook has thoughts.
Absolutely the worst.
If you've ever been to that place, first off, I've taken my kids there. When we were little, that's where they wanted to go for the birthday. We went, and the kids
you
loved
have
it.
to, don't you?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't deny the kids the Great Wolf Lodge experience.
But it is, and they do a fine job up there for value and all that. And the kids love it. There's a buffet, the whole deal. It's indoors, and it's 85 degrees with 90% humidity, and I mentioned a 35 to 40% urine content. I believe the water at the Great Wolf Lodge is 75% piss. I truly believe that. It is the strongest chlorine smell in the world. The most concentrated water.
Well, I had to squirt.
Is at the Great Wolf Lodge. And if you've ever been up there long enough, you will get called out of the pool because someone has diarrhea.
What are you going to do? Pee on me? Like, I don't know.
Guaranteed.
Well, it is, if you can avoid it, avoid it.
But when the kids want to go, you go.
The kids.
What would weird me out is that if I was up there, 'cause I've probably been to Great Wolf 8 to 10 times over the years with my kids, all for birthdays and
Why are you
things
going
like that.
there?
I would be so concerned if I was up at the Great Wolf Lodge and I ran into like a buddy of mine. I'm like, hey man, you here with your kids? Nah, just decided to head up for the weekend. I'd be like, all right, time out, man.
Didn't that happen in Eastbound and Down? I swear that was like a plot line at some point with adults in a kid
If you are
park.
at a Great Wolf Lodge on your own, sans kids, I want an investigation because you are that.
Put them on a list.
There is criminal activity that's about to go down, or has gone down.
So Portland public pools, or parks and rec pools, will be open from June 20 to August 22. Just 2 months.
Yeah.
Huh.
Not long. Huh?
Not long.
Yeah.
So that's Selwood, Pier Pool, Peninsula Pool, Monta Villa Pool, Grant Pool, and Creston Pool.
Yeah.
I haven't been to any of those.
Nor have I. We used to have one. I don't even know if it's still there. There's one when I was a kid we'd go to. It was in Camas. Camas had a public pool.
And they do have free swims.
Yeah. And I remember as a kid going out there and they had the hottest lifeguard. We called her the Tiki Goddess.
Your own Wendy Peppercorn?
Yeah. We had our own. And she was fantastic. And that was like half the reason you'd go out to the Camas public pool.
Why did you call her the Tiki Goddess?
She was it was like the lotion that you put on. It smells like that, you know.
Oh, it's like that kind of like coconut oil.
Yeah,
one
she
or
would
whatever.
be
It smells
slathered up,
islandy.
and she was like either Hawaiian or she had the Polynesian, and so she just was slathered in that, and she looked and smelled so good, like right out of the islands. Had that coconut goodness smell to her, and she was the Tiki Goddess. And I don't think any one of us ever had the balls to talk to her, nor would we have had a chance. But there were many a days just spent in the corner in neck-deep water, creepily staring at her. She was wonderful.
Text line says, I saw a kid drop a piece of pizza in the pool at a Great Wolf Lodge, and no one did anything about it for an hour until it got scooped out.
Look, I think a pizza in the pool is probably the cleanest thing in that water.
What would you
could do worse.
If somebody, like if it's your kid, you're probably going and fishing that out.
Yeah.
But if another kid drops a pizza in the pool, I think everybody goes about their business.
I'm probably just, you know, unless it like floats by you, then you're like, look, we're just moving over to that corner of the pool.
But what's bad about a piece of pizza?
I mean, there's just pizza in your pool.
Yeah, it's an odd.
It's odd, but it's not going to hurt you.
No, it's not going to hurt you.
But
just a commentary on where you are.
I could totally see you being in the wave pool and then just getting hit with something and turning around and being like, what's
Was that pepperoni?
Pizza. You would think, though, that someone would come along with one of those skimmers and like...
I take a bite out of it.
How long has it been in there?
How much would you have to get paid to take a bite of Great Wolf Lodge waterlogged pizza?
Ooh, gross.
$5,000. You taking a bite of that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
But
Sure, of course.
$1,000.
That's an easy $5,000. What?
$1,000?
I mean,
for a grand, you're taking a bite. You're taking.
It's not going to hurt you. Again,
Probably not.
Think about what's in your. Again, you're in that pool. There's worse stuff that's been in your mouth. It just is. And by the way, when you get done out of those places, your eyes just burn, which means that you've had 1,000 kids literally pee in your eye socket. That's what that's about.
That is in the news, June 16, 2025, brought to you by the Advocates Injury Attorneys at advocateslaw.com. Coming up next, a small but needed change and surprise trades in sports over the weekend. We'll get to those when we return on The Fan.
Swag here, and the spring weather
too.
Yeah, ESPN had a 2-hour and 29-minute countdown clock when we started this dumb show.
You know what bothers me about sports? I'm going to sound like a 100-year-old man for a second.
Yeah.
When they give a game time,
Sure. It's never
the game. I want them to give me the time that the game actually starts.
Yes.
NFL is pretty good about this.
Yeah. A 1 o'clock kick tends to be a 1 o'clock.
But they're usually 105.
Yes.
But they tell you that it's 105.
Yes.
So you got 5 minutes of pomp and circumstance,
Sure.
and then they kick the damn ball.
Yes.
This is great. Baseball, and particularly basketball, they need to do a better job of this.
I also feel this way, too, about concerts.
Yeah.
I hate it. Doors open at 6, shows at 7.
Yeah, you never really know.
You don't really know. And then you look, and it may not have an opening act stated on there, but you're like, there's no way. I got a show that I'm going to tomorrow. And you always assume, like, it's at the Crystal Ballroom, you're like, it'll be at 9 o'clock. But you can't ever really predict that because on the one time you show up at 8:30 and, like, the band, you're like, what?
They're almost done.
They're almost done. You're like, no. We need more clarity. Just tell me when it's going to actually start.
Because they do know that.
They do. Yes.
The insiders know that.
Yes.
So why don't they ever is that a thing that they don't?
I don't know. They're trying to lure you in to tune in at a specific time, and so that you're, if the game's gonna tip at 5:40, just tell me 5:40. Don't tell me 5:30.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess what you're saying is like the music people want you to be there for the opening act.
Yes.
So they just tell you, here's when the doors open.
Yes.
That's it.
And then there's a great mystery.
Yeah.
But for the most part, the lead act isn't going to go on till 9 o'clock. That is usually pretty standard operating procedure. But I've been burned a handful of times where I'm like, I'll show up at like 8:30, 8:15, and the opening, the main act is already playing, and I'm like, son of a, You're like, when did they go on? They're like 15 minutes ago. And then you're pissed. You're like, I thought it was 9 o'clock. They're like, well, the show started at 7. No, it didn't. It started at 8:30.
There's like a noise ordinance or something.
Yeah. Drives me.
I
hate that.
Somebody said if you set up your YouTube TV notifications on your phone, it will text you when the sporting event tips.
Really?
Now
Ooh, that's nice.
That's great.
That's what I'm talking about.
Good little
I
life
don't have
hack.
YouTube TV, but I
That is
appreciate
a great life hack. I have YouTube TV. I need to figure that out. But yes, NBA. Did we get the countdown clock?
No, it's on commercial right now. Oh, by the way, right here, the bar at the street level at the Crystal has the exact set list. It's not published, but the bar still has it. Then tell the rest of us.
Yeah. Well, the bands always have it. I mean,
Yes,
they know.
they
so
know.
Why don't they just? Yeah.
Thank you.
It's not that hard.
It's really not. Doors
Stupid
open
bands.
at 7. Or doors open at 7. Show at 8. Social distortion 9:15. Just that should be posted everywhere.
I tell you what, I love me some Jack White.
Yeah.
And we went to the Jack White show recently out at Edgefield.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. Whoever that opening band was owes me money. They were awful.
And see, that's the thing. I think sometimes they know that, and so they're like, I don't know, just take a guess. Maybe show up, maybe don't. I hate that.
Yeah. I had to sit through that.
There's nothing worse.
I tried.
There's nothing worse.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah. You're like,
Although he did, the lead singer got to the point where he just took his clothes off and started singing through the crowd. He went into the crowd.
He had nothing else at that point.
No, he was in his seriously, he was in his boxers. And it was kind of a cool moment. He's like, he's singing, and they were kind of like a
weird
Mike Lynch like
kind
of band.
And he went down to his undies?
Yeah, he was down in his boxers and no shirt, and he was cruising around through the audience, and the audience was loving it. The ladies were loving it. His sweaty body. But kind of cool moment, he stopped and he goes, "That's my dad." His dad was in the audience.
Interesting.
Kind of cute.
All right.
But boy, I tell
Terrible.
you, I could have done without them.
Yeah.
You know.
We've all been.
But that, to your point, this is how they got us there.
Yes, because you didn't know.
Yeah. I mean, it's.
Yeah, I guess you're just there.
Yeah.
Yeah, the venue wants you standing around bored, nothing to do but buy drinks.
Yeah.
So they just tell you it's very vague. And we've all been
right.
there when there's a great opening act and you're like, oh my God, this is really surprising. And like,
You know what else you have time to do is hit the merch tent.
yes. But there's nothing worse than when you get stuck with the opener and you're like, oh my, and then they tell you who they are every 8 seconds. Yeah, by the way, we're split ditch. And you're like, no one cares. You suck. You know you suck. Shut up about telling us that you're split ditch from Tulsa. No one cares. Stop telling us.
Well, I see why they do that.
Yeah,
Because
no-
nobody knows who they are.
And no one will know who you are. Get off the stage.
Wow. All right. Coming up next, we had a no-hitter today. And
not arguably, the greatest performance we've ever seen at this event.
A small but needed change in Major League Baseball we'll get to, and the weekend trades that shocked us all. Coming up on The Fan.
It's back. Your local Toyota dealers present the 11th annual Fan Golf Classic at Langdon Farms Golf Club on Tuesday, June 24th. Brought to you by Henderson and Daughter Windows and Doors and Philbrook Law, Accident and Injury Lawyers. The afternoon round is sold out, and the morning round is filling up fast. Visit your local Toyota dealer today. Toyota, let's go places. Also brought to you by Cazadores Tequila and George McCoy at Warren Allen Attorneys at Law. Reserve your foursome now at 1080thefan.com.
Now, here's a quick look at Portland traffic.
What a grind. Not only is it bad on northbound I-5 out of Portland getting across the interstate bridge, but 205, 84, all jammed up. This is because of a crash through the area. I'm Casey. That's Portland traffic.
Hey, it's Dusty. Victor Rico's just dropped new menu items. Restaurant quality, made fresh, and served fast. Plus, they're open late. So whenever hunger hits, Victor Rico's is ready. Trust me, it's delicious. Visit them in-store or order online at victorricos.com for takeout or delivery.
Are you curious about who offers the best deals on top-rated Samsung, LG, and Sony TVs? The answer is surprising. It's not online, and it's not the warehouse clubs. The best deals on top-rated TVs are at Video Only. Don't believe it? Then check out the trade-in deals at Video Only. How about $500 for your old TV? Try doing that online. Before you buy that new TV, drop into Video Only. If you don't, you'll be sorry.
Okay, yes, we had a no-hitter today in the College World Series.
Should have been a perfect game.
Pretty cool. 19 strikeouts, man.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if you heard, and it was by this kid from Arkansas.
Gage Wood, I believe.
Gage Wood.
And
he was fired up.
And 119 pitches is, to me, the really remarkable part. With 19 Ks, that's insane.
In an elimination game, had to win or go home. And the only guy that was on, I think it was in the 8th inning, he threw a curveball, and it hit the guy in the back foot, and he leaned into it because he needed to get on base. Otherwise, it was a perfect game. He essentially threw a perfect game, striking out 19. There's only been 3 no-hitters, never been a perfect game. Only 3 no-hitters in the history of the College World Series. First one since 1960, and certainly no one's even struck out 19 before, let alone a perfect game or a no-hitter. This was the single greatest performance in the history of the College World Series, and the dude was animated and was super broy and gave us like 4 or 5 great memes of him celebrating on the mound afterwards.
Well, it's hard for me to say that there's any sport higher T than football.
Yeah. Baseball's getting
But
close,
I tell you,
man.
college baseball gives that a run for its money.
Yes. The amount of bros and the eye black and the 19 armbands and the headbands and the Bryce Harper-ish, it is, there's like 17 sliding mitts.
And you have fluorescent colors everywhere,
Dude.
sleeves and mitts.
And they're always just yelling
guards.
and flexing. And
Yes.
A lot
At
of eye
least in
black.
football, if you're going to yell and flex, you do have to hit somebody.
Right.
Baseball is, I'm here to declare officially, baseball, high school and college baseball is the biggest bro sport in the world right
Very
now.
broy.
It is
I don't know how
unbelievable.
you could get broier. By the way, do you know that guy's ERA before the game?
Gage Wood?
Gage Wood.
I did. I don't know if you were familiar with me, but I am not a deep dive Arkansas Razorback college baseball guy.
5.02.
Oh, so this kind of came out of
Was his ERA.
This came a bit of nowhere.
Yeah.
Because I was watching the we stopped off at for some wings after the Hops game.
They said he'd been hurt too.
And so I was watching the Beaver game.
Oh,
Dude, that cat for Coastal Carolina.
He was nasty.
Dude, and he's got like a 1 point whatever.
You know the last time they lost a game?
It's like 25 game win streak or
April
something?
22nd, before the papacy. That's the
Really?
last time Coastal Carolina lost.
Are they going to win it all?
Maybe.
They might. But that big guy, he was like a 6'7" guy or whatever. Dude, that guy was mowing folks. He was a machine.
Beavers play Louisville tomorrow.
Yeah.
At 11 a.m.
Yeah. So tomorrow they play Louisville. Loser of that goes home. You're done. The Beavs are going to win that because screw Louisville, which means then they'll play another game that day. They'll play a doubleheader and they'll get Coastal Carolina. If they beat Coastal Carolina, then they get them again on Wednesday. If they lose, Coastal Carolina is playing for the College World Series.
So they got to beat Louisville.
Yes.
And Coastal Carolina twice.
Yes.
To get into the final series.
And, I that's an uphill battle considering Coastal Carolina hasn't lost in, 25 games or whatever. But I was reading and kind of listening to some stuff, and the Beavs are 100% comfortable in these situations.
Yeah, they don't care.
They
until
don't
their
care.
Backs are against them.
No, this is, and they've won World Series this way. And they're just, I was reading about it after the game. They had a brief little hitters meeting, and basically the thing was, we're fine. We don't have to make any adjustments. We're going to be okay. And they have one of the deeper pitching staffs. A lot of places, struggle to even find 3-man rotations. You see, Oregon State's got 5 or 6 different options. So if these things do get extended into long series, that tends to benefit Oregon State and their deep pitching staff. So, we're go Beavs. We got some faith, but Coastal Carolina apparently is a bit of a beast.
They look
standing
pretty
in your
good.
way. Yeah.
Go Beavers! How about that?
Small but needed change in Major League Baseball. Corkscrew this in here before we get to the weekend trades. Major League Baseball came out and announced today that the players will go back to wearing their own jerseys in the All-Star game.
Yes.
And I love that.
Thank God.
That's great.
Yes.
Amen.
If you want to wear an All-Star hat, that's fine. But
I kind of like when they wear their own stuff.
and then they just put the logo on the side of the hat.
I
I'm
think
just
it's
saying
cool
the
for
All-Star
BP.
jerseys have become they're a problem.
They're awful.
They're just terrible. So, you get one side wearing the grays, one side wearing the whites, and roll them out there.
That's right. Excited about that.
I am excited because when's the last time there was a good-looking All-Star game jersey?
I don't even remember them. I just think it's kind of...
They're terrible.
Yeah.
They should be BP jerseys only.
Well, I mean, I just remember being a kid, and it was just kind of cool that all the different colors...
Seeing all the
and-
jerseys out
yeah,
there is a
at the
really
same
special
time.
thing. It's cool.
Right. So now we're going back to that.
Yes, I like it.
2 surprise trades over the weekend. Rafael Devers was dealt from the Red Sox to the Giants, so Buckley gets a slugger who won't hit. I mean, he's good, but going there to that ballpark, how many home runs do we think he hits?
Well, we talked about this, that when this trade went down, someone had this little fun fact. The last San Francisco Giant, and by the way, this spans all of their 3 World Series, the last San Francisco Giant to hit 30 home runs is Barry Bonds.
Yeah, that's crazy. And I went back and looked at the Giants World Series teams.
Yeah.
Boy, listen.
Hitting.
No offense, Buckley, but
Pitching, bullpen,
Dude,
and timely hitting.
those teams, none of them had anybody.
Nope. You had Buster and Pablo Sandoval.
Except for Buster Posey.
Pablo hit 3 home runs in a World Series game. But
I couldn't believe that Posey never had 30.
yeah.
I assumed
he wasn't a huge power hitter.
But
he was like a 300 guy who hit 15 to 20.
I assumed at some point he got 30.
Okay, so this is their first World Series.
Yeah.
This is all since Bonds. They won 3, right?
Yes.
They had Posey, Aubrey Huff, Freddie Sanchez, Juan Uribe, Pablo Sandoval, Pat Burrell, Aaron Rowan,
Cody Ross,
and Nate Shearholes.
My high school teammate.
Let me ask you, is that
team won the World Series?
Is that the worst lineup to win I'm not just saying from a plate.
It's possible.
Is that the worst lineup to win a World Series in
That's really
modern
bad.
history?
Matt Cain, Tim Lincecum, Barry Zito.
Yeah.
And Madison Bumgarner was a rookie. And
Um,
Bumgarner pitched a lights-out Game 5 in World Series.
2012, Buster Posey, Brandon Belt, Ryan Terrio, Brandon Crawford, Pablo Sandoval, Melky Cabrera, Angel Pagan, and Hunter Pence.
Yeah, traded for Hunter Pence before the deadline that year.
Yeah.
Most home runs on that team was Posey at 24. By the way, the most home runs on the 2010 team was Aubrey Huff, 26. And then the 2014 team that won the World Series had Posey, Brandon Belt, Joe Panic, Brandon Crawford, Pablo Sandoval, Mike Morse, Angel Pagan, and Hunter Pence.
Dude, those teams won 3 World Series.
Gritty.
Those teams were rough.
Yeah.
Their pitching staffs were awesome, though.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Well, how do you think they won it?
Well, Matty Bumgarner won him to
remember
one
one year
Royals.
where the Giants didn't beat the Kansas City Royals.
Bumgarner.
Madison Bumgarner beat
By
the Kansas by
himself.
himself
Right.
beat the
That's right.
Kansas City Royals.
Because we touched up Tim Hudson like a little bitch.
That's right. No,
Well,
no arguments here.
I don't remember who else they had.
It didn't matter because they had that big
Jeremy Affeldt came in
They
between
had that
Hudson.
country bumpkin who wasn't even good in the regular season. Then he gets to the postseason, he's like, I swear, he just wanted to win that truck.
Well, he had a good year. He
He's wanted the MVP so he could get that Toyota Tacoma or whatever. He's like, I need that.
He was 18-10 with a 2.98 ERA.
Yeah,
he was pretty good.
Yeah.
Regular season.
He wasn't postseason good though.
In 2012, Matt Cain had an almost identical postseason performance to Bumgarner. I think he gave up 1 run over 20 innings.
I hate the Giants, and I also hate that they got Rafi Devers.
Well, they never get anybody in the trade market, so
Go
don't
Padres.
expect it anytime soon again.
Well, they couldn't get anyone. None of the free agents want to go there because
Nope.
no one wants to sign and not hit. And so I guess you got to make a deal. And when you look at whatever you think of him, Devers, and I get he can be a little bitch and kind of sensey. He's a top 10 to 12 hitter in the bigs. So to get him and not really have to give up a whole lot, that's.
Did we not?
I wish the Mets would have done that.
Did we not give Barry Bonds enough credit for hitting as many home runs as he did in that ballpark?
Well,
That's correct.
You could normally say that, but he had something else going for him besides So yes,
but what if he played in? Seriously, what if he were juiced
800
like he was, and he played at Yankee Stadium?
Yeah.
Or Fenway with the short, like pesky pole around there.
Well, but
Like-
isn't Yankee Stadium like on right? He's a lefty.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
right field is a joke.
Is a joke.
Yeah.
If he played in New York and he was juiced out, although would that have been New Yankee Stadium? When the new one?
I think New York, Boston, Colorado, and Houston for Bonds.
If he had played in a little field,
dude,
he would have hit. I don't know, 80 plus.
And it started at Candlestick, which was also terrible for hitters.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
So yes, you can criticize Bonds for the roids and all that, but I will go to my grave saying the single greatest performer in any sport that I remember watching, because Gretzky was a little, I was too young to have a full appreciation for how good Wayne Gretzky was in his peak, early 90s.
Well, he never won anything.
The best single sport athlete I ever witnessed with my own 2 eyes was Barry Bonds. And you can say all you want about the drugs. I don't care. No one was peak Barry Bonds is the scariest thing in sports.
There were legends that went around about him, like his batting practice bat. You look at most dudes and there's baseball marks all up and down, and he reportedly had like a spot the size of about a nickel on his bat that was the only spot that made contact in BP. Everyone's just like, how?
Yeah.
That's the drugs.
He was, yeah, I know.
See, that's not the drugs. That's just it. The distance is
I think
the
he's
drugs.
being sarcastic. Problem is that when you get someone who is the best player of his generation and then you sauce him to the gills, turns out,
then you act like an ass,
if
too.
drugs can make Ken Caminiti an MVP. Well, drugs can make an MVP into the greatest baseball player of all time, and Barry Bonds is the greatest baseball player of all time.
For me, it's Tiger Woods.
I can see that.
But watching peak roid Bonds, big fathead Bonds, watching him hit, I mean, I've never seen anything like that.
Nope, I've never
because one, he drew 8 million walks. They would not pitch to him.
There's like over 100 intentional ones, let alone the unintentional ones.
They would intentionally walk him with the bases loaded. They wanted no part of him.
Nope.
He had no help in that lineup. And yet, every once in a while, if it were grooved or it were close, he would absolutely deposit it.
Yes.
He never missed. It was unbelievable.
His discipline was amazing too. He just waited and
he just waited.
and waited and then pounced.
Yep.
I knew this. There's all kinds of fun little Barry Bonds facts, but peak Bonds, the 2004 big head Barry Bonds, he had 45 home runs. Do you know how many strikeouts he had?
7.
41. He had more home runs than he had strikeouts.
How many walks? 200 walks?
He had 120 intentional walks.
Intentional walks.
Intentional walks.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, it says here.
120 intentional
And
walks?
intentional walks, 120.
How many total walks then?
I'll try to pull it up
7,000?
here. This was off of Reddit. That entire year,
Jesus,
he swung and missed 92 times. That's it. Oh, and in
that's no Tony Gwynn.
162 games, he swung and missed. Dude, Tony Gwynn was amazing, but Tony Gwynn hit like 12 home runs.
Oh, I know, but he never swung and missed.
He never swung and missed.
Is the thing about Tony Gwynn. Contact hitter.
Barry Bonds drew almost 700 intentional walks in his career.
What year were you just talking about?
That was one of the...
2004 was his probably best offensive year, and I think 03 was the one year that he broke the actual home run record.
2004, he had 232 walks.
Jesus.
And hit 362.
Yeah. That was a better offensive year for him than the home run setting season.
Yeah, you said he had 41 strikeouts.
Yeah.
He had 232 walks, 41 strikeouts, and hit 362. And oh, by the way, 45 home runs.
How many doubles did he have in there, too? Does it say?
Doubles.
Probably a bunch of those, too.
Doesn't say on this page. I'd have to go look that up. Anyway.
Also in 2004, he had a 609 on-base percentage. He is... I don't care.
That's great.
I don't care about steroids. He is the greatest baseball player of all time. Oh, and by the way, he had a Gold Glove, and he was an MVP and Hall of Famer before he did all this. I do kind of appreciate... I get that Bonds was an ass, and one of the things I appreciate about steroided Barry Bonds, and it is confirmed, that he was pissed at Bonds and Sosa. He didn't.
At
McGuire.
Or, excuse me, not Bonds and Sosa. He was pissed at McGuire and Sosa. He was like, whoa. He goes, I'm the best player in baseball. Why is everyone talking about them? And everyone knew that they were roided, and Bonds was like, all right,
watch this.
If this is the game we're gonna play, and no one cares, and all these dudes are gonna be on roids, and we had the Caminittis and the Boones and the Pudges, and he's like, cool.
Don't forget the pitchers that are adding to their fastball.
Clemens and everyone. He's like, hey, if this is what everyone's doing, all right, F you, I'm gonna do it too. Watch this. And then he proceeded to become like the
Godzilla.
scariest form in baseball history. So I can appreciate that Bonds gave everyone the middle finger and is like, I was better than you before, and I'm better than you after. Watch this.
So Rafi Devers to San Francisco should be interesting. Another big trade surprised us over the weekend. Desmond Bain got dealt to the Magic for everything.
I know.
In the world.
Why? These deals are wild. That one, the Michael Bridges. I'm like, what do you land for Giannis if that's what the price is for Desmond Bain?
Basically 4 ones and a pick swap.
We will get to that coming up next. Here's Buck.
Now, from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Ryan Buckley with the SportsCenter update. First on the Fan on the hardwood tonight. A pivotal Game 5 in the NBA Finals about to tip off in Oklahoma City. That series tied up 2 games apiece between the Thunder and Pacers. OKC's favored by 9 tonight. Out in Omaha today, Arkansas's Gage Wood throws a 19 strikeout no-hitter, helping the Razorbacks avoid elimination against Murray State. It's the first no-no in the Men's College World Series since 1960. On the pro diamond in the NL West, Shohei Ohtani making his Dodgers starting pitching debut tonight. His first start on the mound since Tommy John surgery with the Angels in 2023. LA takes on the Padres at 7 o'clock on the MLB Network. And the Mariners also back in action starting the day 4.5 games out of first place in the AL West. They host the Red Sox tonight with Logan Gilbert on the hill for the M's. Lucas Giolito gets the ball for Boston. First pitch from T-Mobile at 6:40. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. Ryan Buckley, the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work. Insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at WarrenAllen.com.
Do it every morning. Dirt and Spray. Weekdays 6 to 9 a.m. on Portland's sports leader. 1080 The Fan. It's time for Who's Leading the Charge. A look under the hood at the coaches, players, and teams getting it done. Brought to you by Battery Exchange.
I sat in dining. Please hold it.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Unbelievable. What a putt to win. That's incredible.
What a pot. That's Terrell Hatton. He was watching JJ Spahn sink that putt on 18.
It's
He's
fun.
like, oh, what a pot. What a pot.
Well, and he didn't need it to win. He's had to two-putt that, but why not put a little exclamation point on it?
Who's leading the charge is definitely JJ Spahn. Reliable, affordable batteries for cars, boats, RVs, golf carts, and more. Online at batteryexchange.com. Powered by Continental Battery Systems. Mention code BXT10 for 10% off.
For more than half a century, contractors and trade professionals have
The Fan.
Hi. What's your name? Are you a balloon?
I'm not a balloon. I still don't know where Lynch got that, but it's a great drop.
Yeah, it sure was.
Hi, I'm a balloon.
Hi, I'm a balloon. Bye.
Someone
Of
out
all
there has to know
things
the
that I
context,
could be,
right?
A balloon? Light as a feather? No.
Hey, so we had another surprise trade over the weekend.
Yeah.
And that was, and I mean, look, yeah, it's Desmond Bain.
I know.
Nice player, but I mean, come on, is that really that big of a deal?
Well, it's like when Bridges got traded, he went for 5-1s, never made an all-star team. Desmond Bain has never been an all-star. And he got traded for 4 picks and a swap. So, I mean, I guess. I mean, Orlando clearly thinks he's the third component to a championship level team. You got, Pablo and then old Franz. And now
they do need some scoring.
And I guess you get, you can't shoot for a lick. So you had a guy that shoots like 41% from the 3 and.
Outside of Pablo. I mean, look, all I'm saying is we would probably not be talking much about a Desmond Bain trade.
Yeah.
Were it not for just how much Memphis got in return.
Yeah.
How much the Magic gave up.
Yeah.
That's what's crazy. 4 unprotected ones.
We keep getting told that like this new CBA, it's like we need young, cheap talent on rookie contracts, and yet people are still like, here's 17,000 picks. I don't care.
We don't care.
We're gonna win. We're gonna win now.
No, I saw somebody talking about it, and I think it was one of the Laker guys on social media saying, we really got to stop overreacting to the quantity of these.
You want quality, right?
Of these.
The picks.
Well, not just the picks, but just the quantity of assets that go in a trade, and really look at the quality over the quantity. And he's right about that.
Because most of the Orlando was what 41-41. They play in the crappy East. They add Bain. They think they're going to be a top 3 seed in the East. So most of those picks are going to be in the 20s. And what do you think about a first-round pick in the 20? You're like, the Phoenix pick should be good because Phoenix is going to blow it up. They're going to stink. So you think that pick's going to be good. But for the most part, those are late first-round picks. But again, I've been told and again, I'm not a super NBA guy, but I keep getting told that second-round picks and late first-round picks matter now because you have to build young depth. Well, apparently no one cares because every time you hear that, then someone trades a bunch of picks and they're like, well, those don't mean anything anyways. So, for a league that was supposed to not be able to compile players and big threes anymore, it feels like everyone's still trying to get big threes and big 4s.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of GMs who just, particularly if they're close or think they're getting close, they don't care about draft picks. I mean, that's the one thing they'll pay you.
I guess
a
that's
million
the thing.
of them.
Is Orlando close?
I think they feel good about. Well, and the other thing was Pablo Banchero came out and he was frustrated.
Yeah.
He said, "Give me some help," and he's awesome.
Yeah.
So they have to listen to him. If you want to keep him happy.
You went out and got him.
And they got Kentavious Caldwell-Pope too in his contract. Oh my God, have you seen that dude's deal?
No.
They gave him he has $50 million left on his deal. I think 2 years.
Hey now.
What?
Well, welcome to the world.
Who the hell paid him that much? God.
I think he won. He won a title in Denver. I think that's.
Yeah, but he's a role player.
But that's the thing is he's a role player in Denver.
Well, he's a role player. Period. He always
he's
has
like microwave bench scoring. It's it doesn't feel. I know he can start, but that just does not feel like that's worth it.
Yeah, he got a 3-year. Let's see, what'd they pay him? That old son of a bitch. They paid him.
Well, and then for the Blazers, people were bummed because everyone always thought that the Anthony Simons to Orlando was going to make sense because they needed shooting and they needed scoring. So the fact that they gave up 5 first-round picks, I'm assuming that Anthony Simons is not going to Orlando. So.
It's actually pretty neat.
Searching. What exactly are you searching for?
I just wanted to see Caldwell-Pope's deal. 3 years, $66 million.
Yeah.
They gave him. What a terrible contract.
Yeah, it's a lot of cake.
He averages 7 points a game. It's like the new Myers Leonard.
Well, I think the idea is I guess
with inflation, Leonard got $10 million a year back then. Yeah, with inflation, $22 million a year. Yeah, for a role guy.
Well, and if you're bringing him in to be a role guy for Memphis, does Memphis feel like they're close? So you're
no. I think. Well, see, there's the other thing is
Memphis getting ready to deal Morant and just go through a screw it?
I think there are some people who think that. And that's where I bring up, if you're a Blazer fan, would you?
Yeah, someone was saying,
Would you?
I didn't hear everything, but Danny and Dusty were, I guess Anthony Simons had posted some, he had posted some.
Are we doing a cryptic social media
Yeah,
thing?
there was a cryptic social media thing. And so people were somehow, I don't, social media, I'm just like, oh my God. I hate when players tweet or like post cryptic things. And then when people infer what it is and the players are like, what are you talking about? I'm like, hey, Dip, you knew exactly what you were doing.
Or or get frustrated like they're out of line for asking. Then don't put something out there.
But yeah, there was some sort of, apparently there was some sort of thing the question was, is Anthony Simon saying that Ja Morant is the next target for the Blazers? And the answer to that is yes.
Why wouldn't he be?
It was like a gun emoji or something?
I don't care. If you have the ability to go out and get Ja Morant, who made Memphis a top 4 seed, yes, go get Ja Morant.
But he's a nice player, but he is
he's an idiot.
Grade A bonehead.
Of course
like,
he is.
I don't know that you want that.
It's better than
well, that's where we're at. No, I don't think you need Ja Morant. I mean, you do need Ja Morant's ability, but I wouldn't go after Ja Morant.
Come on, all the gun-toting ways, he'll fit in great here in Portland. What are you talking about?
No, he won't.
Yes, we've done it before. We're all about
exactly.
that. Let's do it.
That's exactly what pissed off half of your fan base.
Bring him back. Let's go. Come on, Ja.
Put him with Derek Queen.
Yes. Bring it on.
Although to get him, you probably have to trade the Derek Queen pick.
He do pay us the money.
Well, I'm assuming to get Ja, it would probably be Denny would be involved. I mean, and
Oh,
here's
the big Denny Avdia.
And here's where Blazer
superstar.
Here's where Blazer fans are gonna get.
What a joke.
Ja Morant is an all NBA player. Yes, Ja Morant comes with some baggage, and Blazer fan will be like, what are you talking about? Denny's better than Ja. So what about Sharp? No. You never deal Shane Sharp for Sharp. Are you kidding me? You know the potential? Meanwhile, you've got an all-NBA player, and I promise you, like half of Blazer Nation thinks that Denny and Sharp are both better. They're like, you know what we'll do? Anthony Simons straight across, done. There's your deal. Anthony Simons and one pick, and maybe we'll take Ja Morant. Dude, Ja Morant is so good. Yes, he's an idiot. But Ja Morant is
I don't want him.
really
I think
good.
you got to take the chance to get him on the straight and narrow if you got it.
Yes.
What if I could give you Zion? Zion. You build around Ja and Zion.
I want no part of Zion.
I don't want any part
None.
of Ja.
I would have way more of a part in Ja than Zion. Ja at least seems like he can keep himself in basketball.
What if what if the Blazers got them both?
It would be fun.
It'd be fun?
I'm not
You
gonna
think
lie.
that'd be fun?
It would be fun.
It'd be frustrating because Zion would never play.
Yes, it would be, but it would be for a brief moment. It would be so tantalizing. But yes, to me, I understand that Ja is a bonehead, but there is a big difference between Ja Morant being a jackass and Zion, who can't keep it in his pants, seemingly has a new sexual weird porn star lawsuit thing happening every other day. And he also can't keep anything edible out of his mouth. And he just never plays. No, I want nothing to do with Zion. Ja is an entirely different animal.
Do you think that if you added the IQs of Zion, Ja, and Derek Queen, they would equal Steph Curry's?
Probably not. I'm guessing no.
No.
And there would be why I don't like any of them.
I understand. Totally understand.
Ja, I could get far more behind than Zion, though.
So the idea is that Memphis may, because it was a stunner of a trade, so they may now be pulling the chute.
Yeah.
And
well, there was some talk when, remember,
just stockpiling picks and trading
doing
Ja
and doing the Oklahoma City thing.
Restarting.
Dude, if Desmond Bane gets you 5 picks, what does second-team All-NBA Ja Morant get you? Oh my God. And there was some talk when Nico pulled the trigger on Luka. The scuttlebutt was they just did not believe that Luka was worth the Supermax, which is what you have to pay these guys. And I forget who it was, but one of the NBA scribes said, keep an eye on Ja Morant in Memphis, who is in line for these new Supermaxes. Dude, they're going to be paying guys like $80 million a year. And they said, keep an eye on that because there is some people in Memphis that do not believe that you can entrust Ja Morant with whatever, $80 million a year. And they said, if Morant ends up getting dealt it's going to be another Luka type situation where they're like, we just can't tie our future to this for years and years. And so, all of a sudden we come here and there's some, scuttlebutt here. Maybe Morant is indeed a 20. How old is he? 20
dumb.
20 dumb. Yeah, a 25-year-old all-NBA player that could be available.
Now, Jaren Jackson, I'm in. If you can get your hands on that guy.
Yeah.
He's nice.
Someone say, yeah, Nike would keep John Line here in Portland, right?
Oh, yeah,
I just think having his dad, T. Morant, on the sidelines would be electric. Him his stunner shades.
Hey,
did we not learn anything?
We haven't had anything interesting with that Blazer team in years. Say what
Fire
you will
it
about,
up.
Say what you will about Zach Randolph, but the Hoops family was at least interesting. We had little Rob here, guns in the locker room and some late night races and occasional dogfight. You know what? Let's make Portland great again. Let's assemble them all. Let's just assemble a team full of sketchy characters, mix them in a pot, and see what happens.
What? That could be fun.
Yeah.
But I think we know how that ends.
Be great for us, though, right?
Yeah. Wow! Well, the Jailblazers were wonderful for our business.
Let's go.
For sure.
Let's put together, what is the all-sketchy team in the NBA that we could assemble?
I think, I don't know about sketchy, but I think Derek Queen, they are in line to maybe get Derek Queen from Maryland.
And by all accounts, that dude's a grade A yes.
Oh, dude, he is a, yeah.
He do pay us the money.
That's him.
That's him.
And then Ja, for sure. It has to be attainable, though, right?
Yes.
Zion, for sure.
Yeah. By the way, you could go get Zion right now for a ham sandwich from New Orleans. They don't want anything to do
Who
with
else
him.
would be on that team?
I'm trying to see. That are just oh man, you went out and got him? I'm trying to think.
You put that team together, okay?
I know. I'm working on it.
Kyrie? He's kind of straightened things out.
Yeah, he's kind of figured it out though, right?
I think I'd want Kyrie.
Yeah, he's less of a problem now. He's just kind of damaged goods through the injuries.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to think. We'd have to get maybe a Jordan Poole.
There you go.
Okay.
Oh, who's the dude for
Ooh, how about this? What if we got Jordan Poole and Draymond Green? We reunited them back.
See, I want Draymond Green. I like him.
Yes, but it'd be even better with Jordan Poole. We combined them. Let's go.
Maybe throw a Dylan Brooks in there.
Yes, let's go get Dylan Brooks.
Dylan Brooks and Draymond. Let's see how that goes.
See, now we're talking, boys.
Who's
with Ja and Zion?
Is Kelly Oubre? Isn't Kelly Oubre kind of viewed as
Ooh, what about Beef Stewart?
Ooh, he's out there.
Dude who punches everybody.
There you go.
He's out there throwing out lefts and rights.
Ivan Stewart, right there.
No, it's not. It's not Ivan. It's
I thought it was Ivan.
Isaiah.
Isaiah Stewart. Yeah, that guy.
Go get some Kyle Kuzma to go along with it too.
Oh my God!
Everyone hates Kyle Kuzma.
You want the ultimate give up?
Yes.
Get Kyle Kuzma.
Look, the young folks of Portland. Let's add Josh Giddey to this mix.
Oh
right? Boy. Why not? Be a big fan of the Portland nightlife. We throw Giddey in there. I like where this is going.
I don't.
Dude, I am
And you
all
shouldn't.
I am all for this. 100%. And then we get you need to get one. Isn't Chris Paul looking for a team? We go
Wasn't he interested in Portland?
We go get Chris Paul to be the leader. the voice of reason.
And then for the balance, you think we get a Jared McCain who does the finger nail polish and the TikTok dances just to kind of
Grayson Allen's got to be out there. Where's Grayson Allen now? We go get Grayson Allen out there.
Watch Paul.
Do you think we could get Westbrook?
Watch Paul. Well, yeah,
he's available.
He's going to opt out. Watch Paul and Billups lead them to a title. And they were all they needed was a little guidance.
And
from two great point guards.
It's actually pretty neat.
And I'm not certain, but I believe I saw a list of NBA free agents this offseason, and I believe that Ben Simmons is one of them.
Oh, yes.
Wow. What a team we're putting together. You could get all of that.
Who wouldn't want to watch this team?
You could get all of that for next to nothing because nobody wants any of them.
I am so all over this. Yes. Ben Simmons is a free agent.
There's our point guard.
Make Portland great again.
The
Let's
Enigma
go.
super team.
Bring back. Is Bob Whitsitt still alive? Bring back Trader Bob.
What about the Birdman? Can we get him out of retirement?
Deal some meth.
Yeah,
Yeah, go
All right.
get. We rehire Neil. He's still around here somewhere.
Yeah, we'll bring Neil back and tell him what to do.
We've got to bifurcate those two things.
Give him an edict. All right, we'll be right back on The Fan.
Guys, move on.
It's time for a Ducks Report, the inside story on Oregon athletics. Brought to you by Mods PDX. The future of building is here.
Today, I have McCormick news for you. First, the longest tenured player in college football history, Cam McCormick. His playing career officially done. He's taken an assistant scouting job with the Patriots. But also, Aaliyah McCormick wins the 100-meter women's hurdles in the national championships over the weekend.
Is
So
she
a
related
national
to
title.
Cam McCormick?
Nope, no relation. Just
Just
McCormick
a
Duck news.
All right. Well, go current Ducks and ex-Ducks.
Congrats to Cam McCormick, who at the age of 47 has landed with the New England Patriots.
Moving out of mom's basement.
I think I played high school ball against him.
Mods PDX, the future of building is here.
If you're considering new construction and want it done right and fast,
Duke on 1080 The Fan.
What have we done with innocence?
I think with the internet, I don't believe that innocence is a thing.
Why?
Have you ever talked to a kid? Oh my God.
Fire up Don Henley's The End of Innocence.
Dude, every kid you talk to now is like a vampire. They're like 13, but they've lived like 90 years. They like the stuff they talk about. It's like what? They can't drive a car or talk to anyone,
or order food at a restaurant.
But they got over like a coke problem at like the age of 10. Like they've like seen and done more. Like they just you grow up. By the time you're like 12, you've lived like the equivalent of like 35 years.
Yeah, you've already huffed keyboard cleaner and stolen
Yeah,
pills, and
it's freaking nuts.
Keyboard cleaner, huh?
But you're
I think that's what kids are
terrified. Hey,
doing.
where can I score some? But you're terrified of talking to like a receptionist.
Right. Well, it's the way it is these days.
Oh, and by the way, someone is right that on our new Blazer team that we're assembling, which by the way, would be so much fun to watch. The one final piece that we're missing is Bronny James.
Yes.
Yeah. Bronny will be a integral part of what we're doing.
I like that. You think we could draft Bryce James too?
Yes, I like where this is going. I'm telling you, new ownership, talk to me. Whoever that is, we've got plans. Well, concepts of a plan, but hey.
All right.
I have concepts of a plan.
Very hot, scorching hot.
Very successful, very rich.
Current events talk coming up next.
Are you getting a new phone?
Why? What do you mean?
I just thought maybe you'd be in line for a new phone.
You do know this reference, yes?
No.
Wow.
Oh.
There's really big phone news today.
You've never seen phones like this. It's the greatest phone of all
Maybe in the
time.
break you can Google Trump Mobile.
Oh, Jesus.
Hey, call centers in St. Louis, Missouri. St. Louis, Missouri.
Still manufactured in
China.
It never ends.
All right. Well, current events talk next on The Fan.
Hey, it's Souk. Vulcan Design and Construction helped me turn my backyard into a true outdoor living space. Now the area I used a few times a year is my favorite place to hang out year-round. To check out their award-winning designs for yourself or to book your free consultation, Petrino?
Oh, yeah, Gabby Petito. I think.
Petino.
Yeah, that one was
Petito.
Bad. Petito, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm struggling with some of these documentaries.
I thought the Karen Reed one was really good.
I didn't make it through. I think I watched like half an episode and I kind of fell asleep and I never went back.
Dude, that's a pretty juicy one because it basically is a real gray area.
And it's still ongoing.
Well, yeah, we just said they're Yes, they are deliberating.
Never change. Ever. I love it. It never ceases me.
Admittedly, I was searching for Rob while we were talking about that.
So yeah, it was she's the guy. She hit her boyfriend. It was a cop or a sheriff.
Allegedly.
Or did she?
Allegedly.
Boy, I tell you, it's pretty.
Ran him over with the old SUV and just left him in the snow.
I don't think she did.
Or he got attacked by coworkers and a dog. We don't know.
Yeah, because he's saying that it's all a cover up, and I love the wild conspiracy cover up. And by the way,
they're eating the dog.
Like sometimes that was the Casey Anthony thing. Remember, you don't need to prove that someone's innocent. You just have to give the jury, who's usually made up of a bunch of idiots, you just have to give them an alternative what could have happened.
You should watch that one because...
Is it good?
Yes, it is good. And it's a gray one, man. And I don't think she did it.
Really?
I really don't. No.
So you're one of the morons that's buying into it.
It's
like,
one
yes,
of those
it's a frame up.
where when it starts... You feel like you see it one way, and the more you watch it and the more information that comes out, you kind of flip. At least I did.
Yeah, it's definitely... There's definitely shady stuff going on with that case. That in the very least you can say.
Because he's a cop too. And
well, all the people in the house are being super weird, and they've been caught lying. And dude, something's up with that. And she, I think that she's crazy and kind of a sociopath. It seems like. And a drunk, but at the same time, she has handled herself the way someone innocent would, and I just feel I don't think she did that.
Well, some say she's not emotional enough, that she doesn't seem broken up enough.
Well, she addressed that and said that when that documentary came out, she had already had. I don't know how long after.
She's like, I've done my grieving.
I've already done all,
and now my life's on the line.
Yeah, because this happened 3 years ago.
Yes. She's like, I went through those. You didn't see that because there weren't cameras, but I've already been through all that. I just want to save my own life.
Yeah. I don't know what that's like I'm always weird about you should act a certain way because...
Yeah, you never know.
I don't know what it's like to be on
but I
trial
do think
for murder.
Yes, but I think if you're innocent, there are going to be some tells that you should display.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, I just don't think someone who's innocent...
Well, that's I go back to the Casey Anthony thing. Her kid vanished. And while the kid was missing and she hadn't reported missing, she's out partying.
Right.
That stuff.
She had no tells.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe she isn't.
No.
Yeah, it's
you're just a psycho.
Yeah.
Whereas this is you said, well, the first jury came back hung, so.
Yeah, I think she's a psycho, but I do not think she did it.
There's weird circumstances around that house and those people. And
the dog? How do you explain the dog?
And the phone records?
Yes.
There's 5 phone calls in a span of 22 minutes at 2:30 in the morning from 3 different law enforcement officials, and they're all like, oh, it's a butt dial. Really?
Yeah, exactly. And I've said this before, but what I think happened was he did go into the house, and she got tired of waiting on him, and she went home. She was drunk, and she doesn't remember that. But something happened where he got in a fight, because they were all housed.
Yeah.
He got in a fight with whoever was in that house, or something happened with the dog, and then the owner intervened, and somebody fell and hit their head, namely him, and the dog beat up his arm pretty good.
His arm had marks that were not consistent with a car accident.
And he died, and they went OS, and they figured out...
Cooked it up. And
yes.
Here's how we can
Yes,
get
and
our
he's
way
a
out
cop.
of it.
By the way, the guy that owned the house
is a cop.
Is the head cop.
Well, and one of the guys inside was the dude on the stand that had all those text messages that was flirting with her, and so there's speculation that there may have been some sort of, not lover's quarrel, but a, hey, you're talking to my girl, and things escalate.
Yes.
And you know how sometimes dogs get antsy and fired up when there's
Yes.
an altercation between humans?
And they got rid of the dog. They said they had to get rid of the dog because he was aggressive.
Yeah.
So,
and then they sold the house just months after it happened.
Come on, man.
Go.
Couple of and then they had all the fake, they planted the...
Forensic stuff.
Yeah, they planted it all.
Yeah.
It's not even... I mean,
See, and all I've read.
You got to watch the show.
I need to watch the show because I've read on the trial, but I am not up on the documentary because I don't know. Lately the murder docs just haven't been doing it for me because I either think they give me nothing or they're really, really. One, they usually don't give me anything, or I feel like a lot of times they're slanted. They're trying to make you believe that the person is guilty, or they're trying to make you believe that the person is innocent. So you think this one was pretty fair and balanced?
I mean, it is a detailed and very complex case, and they go through all of it, and every time something new comes up that you didn't expect, you think a different way, and then you're like, oh, well, I didn't know that part. And,
that's maybe why you have the hung jury. I mean,
it takes because I think that one's 3 hours.
3 hours, it takes it.
It takes that much time to get through all the different stuff in that case.
Because like that Gabby one, I'll watch others that are like 3 and 4 hours long, and it could be done in a tight 45 minutes.
Well, that one was pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
But I think the only interesting thing about the Gabby one was they did have footage. Like, we never really knew how the parents, his parents handled things. Yeah. But there we did. On that doc we did. And that was the only thing new.
Like, there's going to be supposedly they're making one on the Idaho kid.
Certainly.
Koberger.
Yeah, Brian Koberger.
Like that one.
Is he a kid? How old is he?
Well, I guess he's not a kid. He's 20.
No, he was the grad student at WSU.
Yeah, that murdered. They're all in their 20s.
Yeah, he murdered four undergrads.
A bunch of co-eds, and he was a grad student. So, like that one.
And there's
like a gag order on that. So that one I'm kind of intrigued about because.
But there's no doubt that he did that, right?
Oh no.
Yeah.
No, but the questions people have are like, how did he target them and like.
Well, and I'm intrigued by, and maybe I do need to give this a whirl because I just have been dismissive of this. But like the one with the Koberger one that weirds me out is there were people in that house that ended up living that saw him in the house.
Yeah.
And then went back to their rooms, listened to their friends get murdered, texted to each other about what was going on, and then fell asleep and then woke up at like noon and were like, I can't get a hold of anybody. Oh, there's blood under the door. Let's call the police.
The secondhand belief is that, like, from friends who have talked to them but hasn't come out in the media, that is like, those kids were housed and didn't really know what was going on and were scared and just shut the door.
Like, that's intriguing to me. Like, I would be interested.
And why didn't he kill them?
Yeah, I'd be interested in that. Well, now I kind of feel like I want to go back and take a look at this because you don't give out recommendations very often.
It's a good one. The Karen Reed doc will rope you in especially because she's back on trial now.
Yes.
So the documentary ends at the end of her first trial.
The hung jury.
And then she is now. It didn't take long. They put her back on trial, and that just ended. And now the jury's deliberating. I will be shocked if she goes away for that.
Because you have to prove beyond a shadow.
Yes, I mean I don't. There is no evidence.
And
none.
Is
there like what is the best evidence that she did that?
All I know is this: if you are going to accidentally kill someone, don't make it a cop. Because I feel like if you kill a cop or you're accused of killing a cop, I feel like there's a lot of police forces that are willing to bend some things in order to make sure that you are held accountable for killing said cop.
It's only circumstantial and it's not forensic, but I think that would be people pointing to like the Facebook messages they were sending each other right before and her angry voicemails right after, where she like.
Oh, they were fighting.
Right, like so that's the only thing that you could say. Well, maybe she would have been because she sounds like she wanted to kill him.
Boy,
like,
that's a leap.
No, I know it is. I know it is, but that was the easiest target, probably for the police force that's framing her.
Yeah, she's getting set up. Anyway, what were we talking about?
We were just talking about current events.
I love current events.
And then I saw that Karen Reed, I was reading about it, and then we led down that, that road.
So we've got a viral video. We've got Europeans taking water guns to tourists, and apparently there's a new phone on the market, or a phone plan.
Oh.
You told me about.
Both.
I looked it up during the break.
I feel like it's right up your... Are you in the market for a new phone?
The grift rolls on. No, I'm not. Thank you.
Are you kidding me? The value on this thing.
That all next on The Fan.
The home of Dirt and Spray.
They blew up our conference. They're not good. They left to go to a conference where they've just been very mid. They haven't won a real title of any note since 2004, but they like to act like they're something that they're really not. And so watching them just get absolutely obliterated by Oregon State, it made me feel something. I didn't expect to feel anything, and it made me feel something.
Dirt and Spray. Weekdays 6 to 9 a.m. on 1080 The Fan.
Now, here's a quick look at Portland traffic.
Slow traffic on 5 if you're traveling north toward the Interstate Bridge. Very typical backups. Eastbound 26, tough too from before the zoo as you get on to 405. You're right on 405, tough both directions, but starting to get better. Casey, that's traffic.
This game day traffic report is brought to you by Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water.
What makes Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water different? We always bottle our Alpine Spring Water less than 1.5 miles from the spring source, and all our bottles are made with 50% recycled plastic from our own recycling plants. Crystal Geyser, bottled at the spring source.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-472-0467. 800-472-0467. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. 800-472-0467.
If the police have officers who specialize in DUI arrests, shouldn't you have a law firm that specializes in DUI defense to help you? This is McDaniel Reynolds with the Reynolds Defense Firm. We specialize in one thing, representing good people who face DUI charges. Did you know that most police agencies have officers who are DUI specialists? So which law firm would you rather have on your side? A firm that does a little bit of everything, or a firm that specializes in DUI defense? I'd choose Reynolds Defense Firm every time. We're solid, we're here if you need us, and we are very good at what we do.
between Iran and Israel.
I'm also amazed that, like, again, this goes to prove my theory that I believe that nothing lasts in the news cycle for more than like 48 hours before we just move on. Last week, Israel, seemingly without letting anyone know that it was coming, whatever, just launched killed a bunch of Iranian leaders, blew up some nuke facilities. Iran's launching back at Israel now. It's a full-blown Middle East war. We got the POTUS on there basically saying, get bent, Iran, like this is your fault. And it barely makes a ripple. It was like front page news for like 12 hours. And then today it was like page 6.
He took to Truth Social to say, Iran should have signed the deal. Quotes on deal. I told them to sign. What a shame. What a waste of human life. Simply stated, Iran cannot have nuclear weapons. I said it over and over again. Everyone should immediately evacuate Tehran.
Yeah, by the way, it's a city of 10 million people.
Yeah.
You're
right now saying that innocent people are to die.
I went to MSN just now. I pulled that up. It is you have to do the click through. It is the 6th story on MSN.
What are the top 5?
Okay, let's go back. 5 new collar jobs that pay over $100,000 and don't require a bachelor's degree.
More people going to click on that than the war.
Tony Robbins sends strong message to Americans on 401ks.
More people going to click on that than the war.
Like, what? What are we?
Well, I think people are desensitized.
It's potentially World War III.
Yep. Well, people don't want to hear about that.
What the hell is going on?
What the hell?
I'm going to go to Yahoo and see where it's at on Yahoo.
Anyway, there is a video, and I'm not sure where. I assume it's somewhere in Israel.
Yeah.
But it is a wild vid. And somebody just put, 2025 is just the weirdest year.
Yes.
Because it's these rich people, and they're up on a rooftop. Mm-hmm. It looks like a rooftop bar, restaurant type of place, loungy type of place. And there's this dude playing a kind of a sexy tune on a saxophone.
Like the guy in the background right now?
Yeah, just like that. Meanwhile, there's a bunch of rich people all dressed up, basically just standing, filming with their phones all the missiles and mortars that are firing around the sky.
Well, I guess they put
it is the weirdest. Like, if you just look at that video and then listen to the guy playing the sax, it's like 2025 on drugs, and it's mind-blowingly awkward and weird.
Yeah, they I guess they put the iron. I didn't know this. I guess the Iron Dome, right? Yeah, the Iron Dome, which by the way isn't working. Apparently, the stuff's getting blown up. I guess the Iron Dome is just like caveats of whatever you call them, like I guess caches of missiles, and they just put it like in the middle of like neighborhoods. So when they're shooting at and shooting from the Iron Dome, like you said, it's just you could lean out your balcony and be like, there, big missile launcher like right below us. And
but it's just so weird that people are filming it as if it's like some fireworks show. It's a freaking war.
This is my point. Nothing anymore matters. Everything, like we see this like when the Las Vegas shooting happened. People are taking out their phones and being like, well, I got to get this on film. Everyone has to film everything, and no one cares anymore. So I went to Yahoo. Top story on the click through Yahoo. Minnesota lawmaker shooting suspect charged with federal murder. Gwyneth Paltrow boyfriend breakfast topless on Instagram.
What?
Yeah.
Gwyneth Paltrow's boyfriend doesn't have a shirt on at breakfast?
No, Gwyneth Paltrow made her boyfriend breakfast while she was topless.
Oh, okay. Well,
on Instagram.
Now that's a headline.
Sam Burns on the questionable ruling that may have cost him the U.S. Open.
Yeah, okay. Little gaff.
First came milkmaid dresses. Now tankinis are trending, sparking online debate.
Wait, what's a tankini? I love
Thinking like
this.
some Bavarian milkers.
What is that?
The tankini is where it's bikini bottoms and then like a...
It's more of a tank top bikini top.
Yes.
Like it covers more of the midriff. You know?
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
So that's that.
I love those headlines.
14,000-year-old mummified puppies weren't dogs at all, new research shows.
Whoa!
Dude, I'm in on all of these stories.
Hold on,
Upset
right here.
alert.
Chef named best fast food French fries, and their top pick was at McDonald's.
Wow! Well, see, I have to click on that. What did they choose? Dude, all of this is
who had
better
the best
than
fritters.
Then we had the.
Wait! Click on the story!
I can't.
What do you mean you can't?
I've already moved on to Arkansas's Gage Wood fires historic
Dude,
no-hitter.
click on the damn story. Is this Yahoo? Is that what you said?
It's
I'm going to listen
Yahoo.
to nothing else you say. I'm going to go find that.
I would like to point out that I have to get to number 11 before I get Trump leaves G7 summit early after warning people in Tehran to evacuate immediately. It's number 11.
Yes.
Behind French fries.
Based on everything you just read, it should be. That's some hot stuff.
It's potentially World War III, and no one cares.
No, we don't.
No one.
French fries, would you say best?
Yeah, I had 4 chefs name their best fast food French fries, and their top pick wasn't McDonald's. In fact, the unanimous favorite came from an unexpected chain. Scrolling.
I've got it here.
Yeah. This is
Any guesses? Who
and
do you
it's
guys think has
based
the
on
best fries?
crispiness, seasoning, temperature.
So you have the executive chef at Francois Frankie in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
You have the chef and owner of Charlie's in St. Helena, California. You have the chef and owner of Prime and Providence in West Des Moines, Iowa. And you have the founder and owner of Taylor in Nashville, Tennessee.
And I will tell you, in my opinion, like when I think of fast food French fries, McDonald's kind of is the gold standard.
No doubt.
Everyone loves McDonald's fries.
Oh my God! You know what they select? Did you read what they selected?
No, I stopped scrolling.
Oh, well, I found it.
Well, I knew you had it. So.
They had McDonald's second.
Someone said, "Can you send me the link to that topless Gwyneth Paltrow article?"
I'm with him. I want to see that. Way more than I care about Iran. I'm going to show you my boobs. They chose Arby's curly fries.
Really?
Yes, they said best fast food French fries, Arby's curly fries.
Wow, dude, I can't tell you the last time I had an Arby's curly fry, but I think of the Arby's curly fry as being a delightful fry.
It's a nice fry.
But I always think that's kind of cheating because I don't think that's a real French fry.
Why? Because they're curly?
Well, it's different. It's I don't know. I think it's its own category. Because
maybe that's why they're so great.
Well, and they're not all fries are kind of that golden color, that yellowish. The Arby's fry is like brown.
It's like a burnt orange to a brown.
Yeah.
Well, they said that's the different seasoning, and one of the chefs said that's exactly why he chose them.
Really?
Is because that seasoning gives it more flavor.
Huh.
It's more than just salt. So it's.
Do I need to go get a thing of Arby's curly fries now? I just don't. I would not have even thought to put Arby's curly fries in my top. I would have said like McDonald's has a good fry. I mean, maybe the gold standard. I think Wendy's does a nice fry. I'll tell you what, I don't like Burger King. I think the Burger King fries are bush.
They're not good. They did something many years ago I think they added like more starch or something to try and make them hold up better as they traveled, like make them last longer, and they got worse, and they've been worse ever since.
Yeah, it's no good.
So Paltrow, that was a topless. So
I have sent Rob down. Rob's like, Yahoo, you are on it with your top stories.
Those are great top stories. Apparently, she put out a cooking video.
Topless?
Yes. Where she has her shirt off.
Oh, yeah.
Or she takes her shirt off.
Yeah.
She's not in a tankini?
No,
she takes it off.
She takes it off.
And then she turns her back
Yeah.
to the camera.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
clever girl.
She is cooking a high-protein skillet with sausage, white beans, spinach, cherry tomatoes, and eggs.
I just would like to point out that in our country, we have potentially World War III breaking out when clearly we could be involved, and our president is talking about potentially us being involved, and the Gwyneth Paltrow topless breakfast dominating the headlines.
And what top chefs think is the best fast food fry.
Wake me up when Gwyneth puts her shirt back on, okay? Then I have time for your World War III crap.
Then you got time. Like that. Those poor the representative and the senator and their wives and husbands got gunned down.
Well, that was the number one. In fairness,
yes,
you said that was the number one, and in the U.S. that is the number one story.
Okay, good.
So that's fair.
That's at least that's something. Even though some people are making, we had another U.S. senator that was making fun of it.
Yeah, well, that's welcome to 2025.
He's got people,
but
we got people getting assassinated, and we're doing bits.
The other thing I want to tell you,
from colleagues.
Did you see that Europeans? This was in Barcelona and other, I think some other places in Spain.
Mm-hmm.
they're taking water guns to tourists. Have you seen this?
No, like just U.S. tourists or just all tourists?
Just any tourists.
Okay.
Because they're basically saying that there's so many tourists that it's driving up housing prices.
Yeah.
And it's pushing the locals out. And they're so pissed off.
They're taking to the
super
soakers?
They are going, yes, they're going water gun in the face of tourists at these particular Airbnbs and hotels. And some of the videos are wild. Like you would think they're protesting like
major.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, to them, it's probably.
Well, it is a big deal. I'm just saying, like, it's just kind of a funny juxtaposition that they're really angry
that all these people love their city or country. That are coming there.
And they're using water gun. Like that's not like.
Oh yeah, I see it right here.
It's not. You're not harming anyone.
No, you're just.
But that is awfully. Like, can you imagine? You were over in Italy, right? Recently.
Yes.
Can you imagine you and your buddies are just strolling through Venice, and all of a sudden this angry mob comes and starts to spray you down with water pistols?
Yeah. So I'm looking here. There's a video in Spain. Oh, and by the way, the BTJ and her friends are going to Spain like in October.
Be careful.
Be careful. So yeah, they're sitting at like restaurants, and there is a mob of like 30 people spraying them with water guns, chanting "Tourists go home."
Yes.
Wow.
And dude, I mean, how would you feel about that? Like, would you?
I think I would leave.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get it's incredibly rude, but at the same time, I'm conscious of this. When I travel places, I often feel bad being part of the tourist mob. Because when you're in Venice, especially, we went on that tour. We went on a walking tour with this historical society guy from Venice, and he said there's between 45 and 50,000 people that are in Venice that live there, and he's one of them. And he said on any given day in Venice, there's 150,000 people. I mean, and I asked him, dude, like, how do you live? And he goes, it's getting harder and harder. And I generally feel bad. And he even said that. It's funny. We were talking to this guy a couple months ago when we were there, and he said the housing stuff is getting bad because everyone's buying the houses and turning them into Airbnbs. So if you do want to live there locally, it's screwing you over. And then all your neighbors are Airbnbs, and
I mean, to be honest with you,
it's a nightmare.
The only way, like, because as a potential tourist, you read, like, if you just read about, hey, in Barcelona they're having a real problem with tourists because, prices are going up and the locals are struggling. If you read that, you wouldn't probably think twice. You'd be like, oh, well, that's normal. That happens here.
Yeah.
But why they're smart by taking water guns to tourists is that now it's like, okay, the tourists actually have to feel something. Now, you can't harm them.
No.
So the water gun's kind of brilliant. Yeah. So you're not doing them harm, but you are getting your message across, and it is making headlines across the world.
And these people, like in the restaurant, they are getting up and leaving.
Yes. And they sprayed one guy outside of his Airbnb. Yeah. Dude, the guy was livid.
Yeah.
Well, but they sent their message.
Yeah. Boy, you got to be, I'll tell you what, though, man. Dude, you got to be careful. You get some jacked up USA bro.
Oh, dear.
I'm not sure he's going to be real happy about, he spent a lot of money to go over to Spain and America,
Well, that's their point.
Yeah. At least they can't have guns over. That's something, right?
People, no.
Gosh. Well, now seriously, that it is weird because I wasn't, but the missus is not planning. She is going to Barcelona and some of these places in a few months. Whoops. Something tells me, by the way, a group of Asians are going to stick out. All her friends are all Asians.
She's going to be targeted. Better watch out.
As are Asians.
Yeah. Honey, I don't think you're going to blend in as a local. Who stands out?
Take your butt out of here.
Her?
Shut up.
This one trait can boost your happiness at any age.
Drugs.
That's next. Here's Buck.
Now, from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Ryan Buckley with the SportsCenter update. First on The Fan, Game 5 of the NBA Finals is underway with the series knotted 2 games apiece. The Oklahoma City Thunder with a 14-point lead at home against the Indiana Pacers. Right now, the Thunder are led by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Jalen Williams, who each have 11 points. Make that 16 points now for Jalen Williams. Pascal Siakam has 10 for the Pacers. Meanwhile, at the College World Series today, Gage Wood twirls a 19-strikeout no-hitter for the Arkansas Razorbacks as they avoid elimination against Murray State. It's the first no-no at the College World Series since 1960. UCLA and LSU doing battle right now for a spot in the semifinals, but they are delayed in the fourth inning, with LSU having a 5-3 lead. Meanwhile, on the diamond, Shohei Ohtani making his Dodgers pitching debut tonight. It's his first start since Tommy John surgery with the Angels in 2023. LA will take on the Padres. You can see the first pitch over on MLB Network at 7 o'clock. And the Mariners also back in action tonight. They take on the Boston Red Sox, who are now without Rafael Devers, traded to San Francisco. Logan Gilbert takes the hill for Seattle tonight. Lucas Giolito is on the bump for Boston. First pitch from T-Mobile at 6:40. More sports scores and stories.
others, strangers, institutions, neighbors, government.
Media, probably.
Your personal relationships, media. Yes, just trusting someone or something helps us immensely.
Well, one of the things, and I'm not trying to say that anyone's like, how do I put this?
Ooh, I can't wait.
Well,
I'm on the edge of my seat.
No, I'm just trying to think of how I want to phrase this. Because in some cases, you're right to be distrustful of the government, or you're right to be distrustful. Like, people do bad things, right? But this is almost like kind of like a matrix sort of thing. Like, do you want to know everything? Because you're not going to be able to control it, right? Like, you can find out that a corporation is putting something in its product that's not good for you, or you find out that Boeing's crashing airplanes. You find out the government kills Kennedy, or starts a war that we have no business being into, Vietnam, or we invade the Gulf and we shouldn't, looking for weapons when we know them, whatever, right? Whatever. There's a million reasons to not trust something. But back in kind of mass information, there was faith in those institutions, whether it was fair or not, or whether it was wise or not. I do think that people were a lot happier because now, yes, we have more information than ever. And you have more right to be skeptical because more of that stuff gets to come out. And I think you can make a very strong argument. It's good. You want to know all those things. You should be informed. But I don't necessarily think that it's made those institutions more accountable. I don't think it's made them better. I don't think it's made them stop doing these things. And I do think that it makes people a lot angrier. I think it makes people, like you said, very distrustful. And I feel bad for people that live in this world, the kind of the Joe Rogan world, where everything you see is a lie and everything you see is a conspiracy.
And it's all upsetting.
And everything is against me. And and nothing changes. It'd be one thing if all of that led to accountability and all that led to people not doing any of that stuff, but it doesn't. It just leads to you being pissed off in your basement and being angry at whether it's the Democrats, the Republicans, your bank, the Jeff Bezos, and I can't buy a house, and
healthcare
my
system,
healthcare is
whatever.
rigged against me, and F my doctor, and the whole world is rigged, and I'm screwed, and I'm just pissed off at everything. And that, I can see where they said that, the trust. Because if you don't trust in anything, you spend your entire life thinking that you're getting the raw end of the deal.
Well, you're going down a road that we've talked about it many times, and that is you can't really worry about things, or you shouldn't worry about things that you can't control.
No.
Is your point. But you're just picking out one thing. I mean, this is talking about happiness, like with a partner, or trust in your partner.
Yeah.
And how they're basically, like, trust and well-being mutually reinforce one another.
Sure.
And whether that, a lot of people don't trust government, but they're perfectly happy because they know they can't control that, and they do trust their personal relationships, or their whatever, they trust humanity, maybe.
Yeah.
And in the end, a lot of people are skeptical of a lot of things, but they trust people in the end, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just the overriding.
You trust humanity. You trust that there's good in the world. But
Yeah.
I guess that's my larger point, is I think for a lot of people, we're getting to the point where you trust your every faith you have in every institution.
Well, then what you're saying, these people are miserable. Well, we already know those people are miserable.
Yes, and
that's
I think
what this is why this study is not shocking.
No,
but it's interesting that it's 2.5 million people, and they found that trust is the biggest.
Yeah.
It's like the biggest positive. The trust and happiness create a positive feedback loop, bigger than any other connected.
And I would make the argument that the vast majority of people are forming negative loops with distrust.
Well, then they're not happy.
And they're not happy. And it's this endless cycle. Because I think if you start distrusting enough things, it turns into I distrust everything. And that's where, like, I talk about this, like it's like the Aaron Rodgers of the world. It just seems like a miserable way to go through life. That it's these, I'm smarter than you, I know everything, And I feel bad for you unwashed masses. And I'm at this, I kind of flip it around. I'm like, dude, I feel bad for you.
I'd rather be blissfully unaware. I mean, I don't want to be unaware, but I would way rather just be able to let go of all that stuff than have it consume me all the time.
Well, there's an old saying that so many people are happy being miserable.
Yeah.
And they really are. There's like a comfort to it for them. But trust is the key, guys. Find somebody or something you can trust.
Someone said there's a Ted Kaczynski on line 1, right? Yeah, it's like, or
for sure.
The dude that shot the Minnesota senator, right? It's like you get so wound up, and I guess he texted his kids or something. It's like, Dad's going to war. It's like, I'm gonna stop this, and it's like, in reality, it's really hard for you to make a change. Like, I think that is frustrating to people in that. Like, I think about it like when it comes to like a big company, whether they end up poisoning someone's water and it gets a bunch of people killed, or an airplane crashes and clearly the company knew that there was going to be a problem with that, and they're like, well, and a couple hundred or 1,000 people die, and the company's like, oopsie, our bad, and then there never seems to be any sort of consequences. And I get why that's maddening to people, but I guess that's my thing is me getting mad and screaming and yelling about it seems to do nothing other than make my life miserable and, again, have a lack of trust. And that goes back to that trust loop. I would be interested to know, if you did a survey of people, how many things they see on a day-to-day basis at work, local, national, world, personal. How much of what you see on a day-to-day basis do you, and I'll just use that broad term, do you trust? And I'll bet you that number is shockingly low.
I also would wonder about what the correlation is between people who have that distrust and how much time they spend doom scrolling, social media, other places like that. Like
finding reasons to distrust.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you're just constantly consuming extra information out there where it gives you reason to have that.
Well, and I'll ask too, like, how many people do you think trust their kids? Like, you would think that your kids are like the ultimate thing that you love, but if you ask people, especially if you have younger kids, how many of parents do you think, quote, trust their kids? How many people do you think trust their spouse? That's like when you see the guy that's like, I would never let my wife go out on, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, why? Because you don't trust her. Like, well, it's a bad situation. All right, well, if she's going out with her friends at night, if you trusted her, it wouldn't be a problem and you wouldn't have jealous men. But we do have jealous men. So again, that goes back to a lack of trust, and vice versa. Be like, hey, honey, I'm going to go with my friends to Vegas. To hell you are. Why? Because basically what you're saying is, I don't trust you in Vegas. So even in personal relationship, I ask, how much trust exists out there? And maybe that's ultimately why you just have a lot of people.
Maybe that's why everyone's miserable.
That don't seem to be very happy.
A lot of people saying Sacred Heart has diarrhea.
We'll
I
wrap
don't
it
trust
up.
that guy.
We'll wrap it up next on The Fan.
It's back. Your local Toyota dealer.
Well, we managed to do another one of these damn shows.
Another one.
Another one.
Something tells me tomorrow we'll be back.
Again. What? More original content.
Go figure.
Right in the butt?
Right in your butt.
That's erotic content.
Everybody have a great night. It's nice out there.
Yeah.
Go be happy.
This game is...
Go trust someone.
Yeah, no, it's within striking distance.
Thunder
yeah,
up America
14,
great, bitch.
59-45 at the half.
Pacers giving up 60.
Ty Halliburton first playoff game with 0 points in the first half.
It's not
good. Well, I guess what? We can talk about it tomorrow.
Yes, we can.
Unless you want to do a bonus hour right now. No. What do you think?
Well,
let's go.
Got the game to watch.
What do you think?
More importantly, I'm going to go home and watch Ohtani pitch.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
No offense to the NBA.
It's MLB Network tonight. Free for everyone.
Ohtani pitching night.
I got Shohei against the Padres. Sorry, finals.
We are back tomorrow, 3 to 7 on the Fan Night.
You come join